papers.
Lead of the majority party.
Coal Company Limited. Number 13, Municipality of Gilgil. Number 14, Molo Level 4 Sub-County Hospital. Number 15, Olengurone Level 4 Sub-County Hospital. Number 16, Gilgil Sub-County Level 4 Hospital. Number 17, Bondeni Sub-County Level 4 Hospital. Number 18, the Annex Level 4 Hospital. Number 19, Bahati Sub-County Level 4 Hospital. Number 20, Langalanga Sub-County Level 4. 21, Mirugi Kariuki Sub-County Level 4 Hospital. Number 22, Elbagon Level 4 Sub-County Hospital. Number 23, Soin Sub-County Level 4 Hospital. Number 24, Nakuru Water and Sanitation Services Company Limited. Number 25, Naivasha Water and Sanitation Company Limited. Number 26, Nakuru Rural Water and Sanitation Company Limited. Number 27, the Nakuru County Climate Change Fund for the year ended 30th June 2024. The second being the reports of the Auditor General on financial statements of Kajiado County for the year ended 30th June 2024, being number 28, the County Executive, 29, the County Assembly, 30, County Revenue Fund, number 31, Receiver of Revenue Statements, number 32, County Emergency Fund, 33, County Assembly Car Loan and Mortgage, 34, County Executive Staff Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund, 35, County Education Bursary Grants and Scholarship Fund, 36, County Youth and Women Enterprise Fund, 37, County Disability Mainstreaming Fund, 38, the County Alcoholic Drinks Control Fund, 39, County Climate Change Fund, 40, County Referral Level 4 Hospital, 41, County Referral Level 4 Hospital, 42, Loitoktok Sub-County Level 4 Hospital, 43, Wangata Rongai Sub-County Level 4 Hospital, 44, Imbirikani Sub-County Level 4 Hospital for the 16 months period therein. 45, Mashuru Level 4 Hospital. 46, Kitengela Sub-County Level 4 Hospital. 47, Nolturesh Loitoktok Water and Sanitation Company Limited. 48, Oloileza Water and Sewerage Company Limited. 49, Olkejuado Water and Sewerage Company Limited. 50, Multimedia University of Kenya. 51, Kajiado County Referral Level 4 Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022. 52, Kajiado County Referral Level 4 Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2023. 53, Loitoktok Sub-County Level 4 Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022. 54, Wangata Rongai Sub-County Level 4 Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022. 55, Loitoktok Sub-County Level 4 Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2023. 56, Kitengela Sub-County Level 4 Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2023. 57, Kajiado County Climate Change Fund for the year ended 30th June 2023. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, Ongata Rongai Sub-County Level 4 Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2023. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
I want to call Chair Standing Committee on Energy, Senator Wamatinga, to present a report of the Standing Committee on Energy. It's a notice of motion.
Madam Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice on the following motion, that the Senate adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Energy on its inquiry into the liquefied petroleum gas LPG explosion in Mladi area, Bakasi, Nairobi City County, laid on the table of the Senate on the Thursday, 8th August 2024.
Thank you. Next is the Chairperson, Standing Committee of Labor and Social Welfare. Senator Murgo, or any member of that committee. Oh,
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on an inquiry into the plight of workers in the export processing zones, EPZS, in Mombasa and Kilifi counties, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 1st, 2024. On behalf of the Chair, I beg to move.
Thank you. Next is the Chairperson, Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations. Senator Abbas, or any member of that committee. Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. This is a report on the Standing Committee of Devolution, Intergovernmental Relations, on its inquiry into personal security concerns raised by Honorable Philomena Kapkori, Deputy Governor, Trans Nzoia County. Madam Speaker, I beg to give a notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on its inquiry into the allegations on personal security concerns raised by Honorable Philomena Kapkori, Deputy Governor, Trans Nzoia County, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 1st October 2024. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
There is a second notice of motion from the same committee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is also another notice of motion. This is reports of the Standing Committee on the Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on its inquiry into the state of markets in Vihiga and Bungoma counties, arising from a statement sought by Senator Geoffrey Asotsi, MP, and Senator David Wakoli, MP. Madam Speaker, I beg to give a notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts report of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on its inquiry into the state of markets in Vihiga and Bungoma counties, arising from the statement sought by Senator Godfrey Asotsi, MP, and Senator David Wafula Wakoli, MP, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 1st October 2024.
Thank you, Honorable
Thank
Senator.
you, Madam Speaker.
Next is the Chairperson, Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunities and Regional Integration. Senator Chute, to give the
Thank you
notice.
again, Madam Speaker. This is a progress report on the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration into an inquiry on the diversity and inclusivity in the staff composition of state agencies in Kenya. Madam Speaker, I beg to give a notice for the following motion, that the Senate adopts progress report of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration into an inquiry on the diversity and inclusivity in the staff composition of state agencies in Kenya, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 3rd October 2024. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Chute. Next is the Chairperson, Standing Committee on Energy, Senator Wahome. Senator Wahome wa Matinga.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. Aware that on the 29th March 2021, a presidential task force was formed to review power purchase agreement between the government and independent power producers, during which a moratorium was imposed on Kenya Power and Lighting Company, KPLC, preventing KPLC from signing new agreements or renewing existing ones with the independent power producers, which moratorium was lifted by the Cabinet in March 2023. Further aware that the National Assembly, via a motion adopted on the 19th April 2023, placed a moratorium restricting Kenya Power from signing and renewing power purchase agreement with the independent power producers, pending a report of inquiry by the Departmental Committee on Energy and the Constitutional House resolution on the report. Concerned that Kenya imports 17% of electricity from neighboring countries and faces a challenge as the growing demand for electricity is conflicted with the lengthy process of developing power plants, which usually takes 6 to 10 years from the conception to generation, leading to electricity shortage and load shedding, which impends economic growth. Cognizant that of the Senate resolution of the 28th February 2024 on the motion by the Standing Committee of the Energy on inquiry into the high cost of electricity in the country, calling upon the Ministry of Energy to, among others, create a one-stop IPP office that comprises all the stakeholders required for approval of power plants, that the Ministry, through KPLC and independent power producers, renegotiate the current power purchase agreements within 12 months of the adoption of the report. And now, therefore, notwithstanding the resolution of the National Assembly that imposed a moratorium on the Kenya Power, whose timeline has lapsed, the Senate, in order to caution Kenyans from high cost of electricity, resolves, 1, that the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum and the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum and Kenya Power Lighting Company be allowed to enter into new power purchase agreements or renew existing power purchase agreements with independent power producers, and that the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPLA, fast-tracks the acquisition of the necessary licenses required by independent power producers with valid power purchase agreement for setting up power plants.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give a notice to the following motion, that Senate adopt the report of Standing Committee on Health on inspection of the tour of health facility in Western Pokot, Trans Nzoia, Turkana County, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 5th December 2024. There is another one also. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice to the following motion, that the Senate adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Health on the county oversight and networking engagement to Taita Taveta, Mombasa, Kwale County, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 5th December 2024. Thank you.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Daniel Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is request for statement on the space debris incident in Mukuku Village, Makueni County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding the reported landing of a red-hot metal debris believed to be a separation of ring from a rocket or a suspected spacecraft in Mukuku Village, Makueni County on 30th December 2024. In the statement, the committee should, 1, identify the responsible country for the rocket or suspected spacecraft that caused the fallen debris and clarify whether the country is aware of the incident in Mukuku Village, Makueni County. 2, assess the impact of the incident, stating damage, if any, to infrastructure, private property, and injuries sustained by residents, disclosing the party responsible for compensating affected parties. 3, determine the environmental impact caused by the debris and outline any measures being undertaken to mitigate such damage. 4, explain the measures the government has put in place to protect Kenyans from similar incidents in the future, particularly with regard to flight paths, security installations, and public safety. And finally, 5, elaborate on the frameworks or international agreements that Kenya Space Agency, KSA, has established for managing space debris and addressing liability issues in Kenya. Senator Daniel Kitonga Manzo, MP, Senator for Makueni County. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator for Marsabit County, Senator Mohamed Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm requesting for a statement on property management, leasing and evictions of Kenya Railways land on Kitui Road, Nairobi City County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads and Transportation regarding the management, leasing, eviction of tenants of Kenya Railway properties, with a particular focus on properties located on Kitui Road in Nairobi Industrial Area. In the statement, the committee should, 1, provide details on the total number of properties owned by Kenya Railways nationally, their estimated value, and the rental income generated from those properties. Number 2, obtain from the Managing Director of Kenya Railways copies of all tenants' leases for railway properties and confirm whether any irregularity were identified in the leasing process. Number 3, explain the circumstances under which Kenya Railway issued eviction notices for properties on Kitui Road, detailing who conducted the evictions, the legal basis of these actions, and whether Kenya Railway conducted an assessment to determine the damages incurred by the tenants, particularly a company called Speedcraft Africa Limited, during the eviction. And finally, 4, identify the current leases of the properties on Kitui Road, providing details on the lease duration, previous leaseholders, and reasons for any change in tenancy, and how the transactions were managed and whether any disputes or irregularities were reported during these transactions. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Senator for Embu County, Senator Alexander Mundingi.
Request for statement on the dangers posed by the use of asbestos roofing in various schools, Embu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise person to Standing Order 53.1 to check a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding the dangers posed by the use of asbestos roofing in various schools in Embu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, on 28 August 2024, the Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Climate Change and Forestry directed that the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, remove the asbestos roofing from schools and other private facilities, citing public health safety concerns the CS directing that all public institutions should remove asbestos roofing from their buildings within 3 months and dispose of them in line with the NEMA guidance. In the statement, the committee should explain the measures the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry has put in place to ensure the removal of all asbestos roofing in Kanja Secondary School, Kiangongi Secondary School, Kien Gaos High School, and Isera Primary School in Runyenjes constituency, Nyangwa Boys Secondary School, and the Queen of Peace, Wango Secondary School in Mbere South constituency, and Camille Secondary School in Manyata constituency or in Embu County. And 3, provide timelines established by the ministry within which the asbestos roofing in these schools should be replaced in order to protect the student, teachers, and others employees from the dangers associated with asbestos, such as the risk of cancer. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Alexander Munyimundigi, Senator, Embu County.
Senator Nairobi City County, Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the poor working conditions and lack of essential equipment and kits for community health promoters in Nairobi City County. In the statement, the committee should 1, explain why CHPs in Nairobi have not received essential personal protective gear such as gloves, raincoats, gumboots and masks necessary for their safety and professional work. Number 2, outline measures being taken to address the technological support gap for CHPs, including the provision of adequate or proper smartphones for online reporting and reliable data bundles to facilitate such reporting. Number 3, cause an inquiry into the causes of delays in remitting stipends to CHPs who currently face waiting periods of up to 6 months without payment. Number 4, clarify why CHPs have been required to conduct social health authority registrations for the public without adequate facilitation and support to perform this duty effectively. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, detail efforts to enhance training for CHPs on the use of electronic community health information systems to ensure efficient reporting and awarding of marks, which are critical for their timely payment of stipends. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Kisii County, Senator Richard Onyonka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources concerning the detrimental effect of ongoing quarry activities affecting the residents of Kisii County. Mr. Speaker, reports from the ground indicate that there is an alarming level of environmental degradation, including the destruction of critical natural resources, the pollution of the water resources and the environment, and the erosion of land that was once used for agricultural purposes. More troubling, however, Mr. Speaker, the allegations that we are having forced displacement and destruction of property by a company called Nyando Building Extracts Limited, owned by the Chinese people who have come to do the manipulation and the collection of these minerals. Mr. Speaker, without adequate compensation, individuals are being harassed and they are being forced, and sometimes bribery is being given so that these individuals can be told and forced to leave their pieces of land where they stay. Mr. Speaker, in this regard, I am requesting the committee to, number one, investigate and report to the Senate the status of the mining licenses that were granted to this company, which is conducting quarry operations in a place called Kiomoncha location, Marani sub-location in Kitutu Chache South constituency, to give information and agreements which were signed for an area called Mote Momwamu, where there's a black product which nobody knows what it is, that is being mined from this place called Mote Momwamu between Kisii County and Nyamira County boundary. And finally, Mr. Speaker, the other place that mining is taking place by the same Chinese company is in Tabaka, where the Tabaka soapstone quarry is providing minerals, materials which are being used by this company to manufacture tiles. Mr. Speaker, number two, I would want the committee to state whether the Ministry of the Environment, Climate Change and Forestry conducted any environmental assessment impact on the area before these operations were allowed to commence trade and before they were offered licenses, so that we can have a provision of the findings of such assessment. Number three, Mr. Speaker, I would like the committee to explain any steps that the ministry has taken to ensure that the rights of the local community, particularly with regards to the individuals who've been displaced by force, whether they have been provided any compensation as regards to the law. Number four, Mr. Speaker, I would like the committee to outline any measures the ministry is taking to investigate and to investigate and address the actions that the ministry is taking to mitigate the environmental degradation that is taking place within all these three areas where this mining is taking place. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I know that under the KK Alliance manifesto, the argument was that any mining that would take place, and the mining needed to take place in those particular areas, like in Kisii County, that whoever that was coming to mine would then be required to set up a factory or an industry to employ local personnel so that they can do value addition for those minerals to make sense to our communities. Mr. Speaker, I hope that this matter will be handled expeditiously, because it is really damaging our environment and there is a lot of air pollution within our area. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and with those few remarks, I say thank you.
Senator Enoch Wambua.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I want to specifically comment on the statement sought by Senator Chute, the Senator of Marsabit. The Speaker, that statement has come at the best time. From mid last year, there has been a lot of evictions, especially on that road called Kitui Road. And I'm not saying this because it's named after my county, but there have been a lot of evictions by the Kenya Railways targeting the tenants who have stayed there, some of them for a very long period of time. The Speaker, in that statement, the committee that will be dealing with it will be very important to establish what the difference is between the new tenants and the tenants who have been forcefully evicted from that land. I say this, Mr. Speaker, because I know of companies that have been established on that land for more than 10 years who had made serious investments. And they just wake up one day in the morning and the Kenya Railways management invades the land, destroys property, and just cancels the leases. Mr. Speaker, there must be a better way of terminating contracts, especially leases. And so it will be important, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that justice is served to everyone, the old tenants and the new tenants as well. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank Senator Chute for bringing up that statement because it touches on a number of people from very different places in this country. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Senator Olekanar Seki.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I also want to put my support to this statement from Honorable Senator Chute on the issue of Kenya Railways. Honorable Speaker, it is true that Kenya Railways have been in books that they are getting and repossessing land from different institutions and groups. I want to support this statement and say that this statement has really affected even most of our communities, particularly in different occasions. There is one group that called the Ma group around these areas of around Nairobi, around the Kenya Railways headquarters, and they have a number of monies that they are still holding for the Maasai community, particularly
Honorable Senators, can we consult in low tones, please, so that we can hear Senator Seki?
On the compensation of the Ma community. I want to believe that this money needs to be given to the members of the Ma community on the land that they bought around Ambakasi area. Honorable Speaker, it is true that this statement has come on the right time, and we want Kenya Railways to compensate the Ambakasi Ma group, which they are still holding that money. And we want to believe that possibly they want to give to different groups of individuals, and we want to come against that such that each and every person be compensated for those, that list that was there who had rights to have that right of that land. Honorable Speaker, I want to believe that this land also of Mheshimiwa Chute needs to be compensated accordingly. Otherwise, thank you very much for this kind of statement. Thank you very much.
Senator Arun Cheriot. Are you commenting on the statements?
There must be a mistake.
Senator Miraj Abdurrahman.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kuweza kunipa fursa hii na mimi nichangie katika statement iliyoletwa na Senator wa Nairobi, katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM. Napenda kusema kwamba ni kweli wahudumu wetu ambao wanapeana huduma ya afya CHP wanaweza kuzongwa na changamoto nyingi sana kule mashinani, na ni muhimu serikali za ugatuzi zihakikishe vile vifaa ambavyo vimeletwa na wizara waweze kuwafikia hawa wahudumu, kwa sababu wanapambana na changamoto nyingi sana. Na pia Spika, ukiniruhusu nipende kujulisha bunge la Seneti masaibu ambayo wanapitia wafanyikazi wetu wa gatuzi 47. Yuko mwanadada mmoja ambaye aliweza kwenda katika kupata huduma ya kujifungua, akaweza kufanyiwa operation katika gatuzi ya Taita Taveta. Kwa bahati nzuri ama mbaya, wahudumu wakalemewa, Bwana Spika. Msichana kama yule akaweza kupelekwa Aga Khan Hospital Mombasa. Tunavyozungumza hivi sasa, mwanadada kama yule ameaga dunia na anadaiwa kiwango cha milioni 9. Afueni ya kwanza, familia walikimbia katika idara ya afya ili waweze kusaidika na huduma ya bima ya SHA. Cha kushangaza ni kwamba gatuzi ya Taita Taveta imekuwa ikimkata dada kama huyu ambaye ni mfanyikazi makato ya SHI, lakini hayajaweza kufikishwa katika taasisi kama ile. Hivi tunavyozungumza, mwenda zake Sabina Chari Mwachofi analala kwenye mochari bila kujua hatima yake. Ningependa sisi kama bunge la Seneti ambao tunagawa pesa, Bwana Spika, kuzipeleka mashinani, wafanyikazi wa gatuzi wanakatwa pesa na makato yale hayafiki katika taasisi husika. Je, sisi kama Seneti tutaendelea vipi kupeleka pesa katika magatuzi yetu 47 wakati magavana wananyanyasa wafanyikazi wao? Hili ni jambo ambalo ningependa kakangu Senator wa Kilifi, naona unaniangalia, kiongozi wa walio wachache. Je, tutawasaidia vipi hawa wafanyikazi? Sisi katika komiti ya Civic tuliweza kuzungumzia masuala ya makato ya uzeeni, lakini ni jambo la kusikitisha kuona ya kwamba mfanyikazi wa serikali ya Kenya wa gatuzi anakatwa makato na hayaendi katika taasisi husika. Familia inadaiwa milioni 9 wakijua watapata afueni katika Taifa Care. Makato kama yale hayajafika kule. Tutaenda kumsaidia vipi Mkenya ambaye amekubali kukatwa, makato yake hayaendi anapostahiki? Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to comment on the statement requested by the great Senator of Embu, Senator Mudigi. Mr. Speaker, the Senator is talking about the poisoning of asbestos in his county, and where there are quite a number of public schools and public institutions which still have the asbestos roofing. Mr. Speaker, I would like to comment that asbestos is very poisonous, and the sort of the fine dust from it, when it accumulates into lungs, that matter becomes fatal. And therefore, not only the people of Embu, but any other place, Mr. Speaker, where there is still asbestos roofing, whether it's private or public, and most of them are public institutions, Mr. Speaker, the country should have taken, and the Special Minister of Environment, NEMA, should have taken the first initiative, and even the Minister of Housing, Mr. Speaker, to remove all this asbestos all over the country. Mr. Speaker, what has happened in the United States of America, where all this has been eradicated, anybody with asbestos poisoning has gone to court and have been awarded hefty amounts of money to compensate first for their life, because once affected is a sure death, and also to make sure that no one is dealing with asbestos at all in the United States of America. So I think Kenya should emulate and do away with asbestos everywhere in the country as quickly as possible. Mr. Speaker, when I was a member of Parliament for Makueni, the first thing I did as an elected member was to get the asbestos in Makueni District Hospital, level 5 now, removed immediately and replaced with the iron sheets. And I think that should follow in the whole country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to make quick comments on the statement by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna on the community health promoters. Mr. Speaker, I think this is a very serious statement, and I want to request the committee which is going to deal with this statement to take it very seriously, because the community health promoters are doing a very good job in our villages. These are people who know almost every homestead in a particular village. They know the concerns of the people on matters of health. But, Mr. Speaker, these people, despite their commitment, they are getting getting frustrated by various counties in this country. Mr. Speaker, I want to agree with the Senator Sifuna that these people need to be adequately equipped with the smartphones. These people need to be adequately equipped even with the protective gear and many other facilities that they need to undertake their work. But in most counties, Mr. Speaker, the CHPs are struggling. Mr. Speaker, this arrangement of 50% counterpart share of stipend between the national government and the central government seems not to be working because of long delays before they receive their money. And I think it's a high time that that program is reviewed so that we have one particular person to blame for the delay. Because when you ask why these people have not been paid, counties say that the national government has not sent their share. And when you ask the national government, they say the county government has not processed their share. So we have a blame game here. Mr. Speaker, I think the committee should look at this matter very critically and report to this House so that these community health promoters who are doing a wonderful job in our villages are able to be motivated to do even greater things. They can also be involved even in this process of registering people to join SHA, which in most places we are having challenges. Mr. Speaker, I think now that we have come back from recess, this is one statement that we need to take seriously and have the report brought to this House as soon as possible so that these challenges that we continue to face as senators on the ground of CHPs not being properly facilitated is addressed within the shortest time possible, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Senator Olekina.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for allowing me to make some brief comments. And I'm going to start with a statement by the distinguished senator from Nairobi County. Mr. Speaker, it is very sad that the Senate does not participate in the budget, in the approving of the budget. Although we spend time and we focus on the budget-making process in terms of giving ideas, a statement like this is something which I hope all senators would really take keen interest in it. SHA alone has been allocated in the 2024-25 financial year about 25 billion shillings. And for Senator Sifuna to come and raise a statement and say that CHPs are not getting their money, it shocks me as to why we should give a new entity such a huge budget, yet people down there who are supposed to be doing the registration are not getting the money. They're not being paid. Before these estimates were reviewed, SHA had been allocated 13 billion. An additional 12 billion is being allocated to them, so it will be 25 billion. So I think it is important, and I really hope that all of us can now start focusing on healthcare. We came up with a bill in this House. We passed it on community health practitioners. But we didn't think about their training. We didn't ask ourselves the questions as to, hypothetically, if they encounter people with mental challenges, how do they deal with them without that training? Now we are requiring these people to go and register members to be deducted. Every member here is deducted, I think, an estimate of about 25,000 shillings every month for sure. Is it 33? 33. Housing levy, I think, is the one which is 18,000. Yet we cannot really take this money to train these people, support these people, pay them their money. So I'm glad that all of us are now alive to the fact that these are challenges that we must, as a Senate of the Republic of Kenya, been paid their money. Even Nairobi County, and this is close to the headquarters of where the money is, they wait for a period of about 4 months. What about in our rural areas? How do you expect our people to go and register members of SHA, yet you've not even given them their stipend? I think we need to really think seriously. And I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, that now, during our recess, we were reminded of the role that we play in terms of defining the term parliament that includes both the Senate and the National Assembly. So now I want to call upon all of us, as we look at our counties. First of all, it is important for each one of us here, head of delegations, members of your delegations, to know how many community health practitioners do you have in your own county. Have they been paid? In fact, I think even the little cash we are given for our oversight, we should set up a toll-free number for these community health practitioners to call and say, I have not been paid. And when they call, you can actually look at a list and say, for instance, in Narrow County, I have 30 wards. I say, which ward are you? I have the name. But I can tell you right now, if I ask Senator Sifuna, who's got probably about 100 and something county, 95 wards, 85, he doesn't know where all these people are. So it is imperative that this time around, given that we have 2 years, can we give our citizens, the people we represent, a reason to re-elect us? Those who may want to come back to the Senate, those who may want to go into other positions. For once, when I look around, I'm not seeing anybody who is in their 20s. Everybody here is at that age where you are content. There's nothing else you're going to earn. Now it's just a matter of sitting down, enjoying, thanking God. Most of us look at this job as a thankless job. But can we at least take these prime years and say, we give back to the community? We fight. The first place we can begin is in supporting Senator Sifuna's statement and making sure that we push out of that 25B going to SHA, at least when the money is released, we follow it to make sure that these people are paid. Finally, Mr. Speaker, it is important that at least we all push for the training of these community health practitioners. They are there, they are supposed to be helping people. Sometimes you might even find others prescribing medicine. But if they prescribe and they have no training, are they not going to kill our population? So, Mr. Speaker, I hope that we can take all of us. If you've not seen this statement by Senator Sifuna, please ask for a copy of it. If you didn't hear the question that he asked, ask for a question of it and see how it can apply to your own county. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Oburu.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I want to comment on a statement sought by the Senator for Nairobi, Senator Edwin Sifuna, on the community health, you call them community health workers. Mr. Speaker, sir, these are very, very important stuff in the public health. Mr. Speaker, the concept of equipping these people was developed by people who handle them. And Mr. Speaker, it is very sad that these people sometimes don't get the necessary content in the drugs that are given to them to help the people at that primary level. And it is important that the committee investigates this matter thoroughly and gets to the bottom of it and finds out the whole process, the whole chain, and also the reasons why these people are not getting the drugs in time. Sometimes it is the relationship between the county and the national government who supplies. And sometimes the delays are because the counties have not paid. But even if the counties have not paid, I think it is important that a system of credit should be developed so that the supplies to these primary health care people at the grassroots is not affected by the bureaucracy of supply of drugs. Therefore, want to urge the committee investigating this matter to investigate it thoroughly and give us a report back on this issue of the primary health care. Mr. Speaker, that is all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Wafula.
I want to support.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa nafasi hii kuhusiana na michango ya maseneta kuhusiana na hoja tofauti tofauti. Mheshimiwa Spika, hoja ambayo mwenzangu Mheshimiwa Sifuna ameibua hapa ni hoja ambayo nimekuwa nikizungumzia mara kwa mara Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, kile ambacho nimeona matabibu hawa mashinani ni kwamba wako na mikoba, wako na simu za rununu, lakini Mheshimiwa, kwenye mikoba hiyo hakuna dawa. Vile vile kwenye mikoba hiyo hamna pesa. Hata kwenye begi hizo Mheshimiwa Spika, hazina ala za matumizi kama kupima damu na mambo kadhaa. Na kila ambacho yapaswa sisi tujiulize Mheshimiwa Spika, tulikuwa Naivasha tukijadili kwamba iwapo serikali itaweza kuongeza mgao wa fedha na tukubaliane kwamba fedha hizi either zitatoka kwenye serikali kuu, pale ambapo serikali ya Nairobi italipa kwa mara moja, kwa awamu moja, au fedha hizi ziongezwe na serikali za kaunti zilipe wafanyikazi hawa kwa awamu moja. Lakini kile kinachodhihirika wazi Mheshimiwa Spika ni mchezo wa paka na panya, na wale ambao wanaumia Mheshimiwa Spika ni wafanyakazi waliojitolea, lakini wanaongozwa na viongozi dhalimu wasiokuwa na moyo wa utu. Pale ambapo wahudumu hawa wanapodai mishahara, wanaambia hata hatuku kuajiri, hakuna mkataba kati yetu na nyinyi. Tunawafanyia tu hisani kwamba nyinyi ni watu wa kaunti zetu. Sasa kando na kudhibiti mfumo wa kulipa mishahara, lazima kuwe na mikataba mahususi ambayo itatia either serikali za kaunti kuwajibika ama serikali za Nairobi kuwajibika, ili watumishi hao wa kaunti zetu waweze kudumia watu wetu katika njia inayostahili. Mheshimiwa Spika, hoja nyingine ambayo ningependa kufafanua ni hoja iliyoletwa hapa na Mheshimiwa Mundigi. Wewe katika taasisi vyumba vya wanafunzi kulala ni shida. Itawezekanaje wabadilishe paa na wakose kuajiri walimu, ala za matumizi na kadhalika? Mimi naomba serikali, mawaziri wanapotoa ilani lazima wafanye kile tunaposema kuhusisha kwa jamii katika kuamua miradi ya maendeleo. Lakini haiwezekani kila mara wanatoa ilani pasipo kujadili na washikadau. Mwisho kabisa, nimeona hoja kuhusiana na shirika la reli la humu nchini. Hiyo ni mali ya umma. Watu wamebomolewa vyumba na maeneo ya kazi katika kaunti hizi. Lakini kile tunataka kujua, wana mpango upi wa kuhakikisha kwamba mashamba ya reli ya nchi ya Kenya yanafanya kazi kwa mujibu wa katiba, na kwa sababu tuko na ugatuzi, maeneo gatuzi ya humu nchini yanashirikianaje na shirika la reli kuwapa wafanyakazi ambao wako tayari kufanya biashara kwa mashamba ambayo hayatumiki kwa muda mrefu zaidi ya miaka 20. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa tu kusema watu wa mkoa Magharibi na kaunti ya Bungoma wamesikia nikitaja mambo ya madaktari mashinani, na nikumuomba governor wa kaunti ya Bungoma kwamba tunapozungumza hivi jiandae, kwa sababu tunakuja kuwatetea wafanyikazi wetu. Tuhakikisha mishahara wamelipwa kwa wakati unaostahili, mikataba inapeanwa, na vile vile mazingira mazuri ya kazi katika kaunti ya Bungoma. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na watakia Wakenya wakati mufti na iwapo wanatetesi tuko tayari kuwapigania. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Asante Senator. Senator James Murango. Na Senator Murango, unapochangia tafadhali chukua muda mfupi, watu ni wengi na watu wengi wanataka kuchangia na wakati unaisha.
Asante sana Mstahiki Speaker, nitakuwa mchache wa maneno na mzito kwa hoja. Mstahiki Speaker, ningetaka kutoa tafsiri yangu na kauli yangu kuhusu taarifa ambayo imewasilishwa na Senator wa Nairobi, Senator Sifuna. Wiki jana Mstahiki Speaker, nimekutana na mawimbi makubwa sana wakati nilikuwa nakosoa utendakazi wa gavana wa Kirinyaga kwa sababu ya ukosefu wa matibabu na kunyanyasa maafisa wa ugani ambao wanatembea kuangalia wagonjwa katika vijijini. Mstahiki Speaker, utapata wale tambibu wa ugani kwamba wanatembea kwa mguu kama mawakala wa ng'ombe. Hawana njia yoyote ya usafiri ya kuwafikisha vijijini ambapo watu wetu wanaishi, mahali ambapo nyanya zetu wanaishi, na wamepewa kazi na mikomba mizito ambao wanafaa kuzunguka nazo. Wamebeba mizigo kama punda hivi kwamba hawezi kuwafikia na wanakuwa wamechoka wakati wana. Mstahiki Speaker, ningeomba usaidizi wako kwa sababu na hapa kuna tafsiri inaendelea hapa ambayo
Majority Leader, Majority Whip, Deputy Majority Leader.
Mheshimiwa Karwale unaitwa na Speaker.
Majority Leader, mnamsumbua Senator Murango akichangia. Tafadhali mpatieni nafasi tumsikize kwa umakini.
Asante sana Mstahiki Speaker. Nilikuwa nasema kwamba wale maafisa wa ugani ambao wamepewa kazi ngumu na mikomba mizito ambao wanambembeshwa midhili ya punda kuzunguka kuangalia wagonjwa katika vijiji zetu, na ambao kulipa wanja lipwa kwa miezi, ni jambo limekuwa la busara kuhakikisha kwamba wale watu wengine wanapolipwa ni vizuri waweze kulipwa pesa zao ili waweze kufanya kazi yao kwa ufasaha. Mstahiki Speaker, huwa anasema kwamba ni vizuri hata kama gavana hata jenga barabara, afadhali akose hata kupeana mbegu na pembejeo za kilimo, lakini hakikisha kwamba afya imefikia kila mtu, kwa sababu aliyekufa hawezi tembelea barabara zilizoundwa, aliyekufa hawezi hata kulima. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri kwamba waachane na mambo yote ambao wanaofanya kuhakikisha kwamba wakazi wote wako hai. Mstahiki Speaker, pale Kirinyaga, baada ya kuleta taarifa ambao tulituma katika kamati ya afya ambayo inaongozwa na Mandago, Mheshimiwa Mandago, Senator Mandago, kumekuwa na mambo mengi yanafanywa kuonyesha kwamba sisi hatujui venye tunafanya. Katika pale ukiangalia katika pale mlangoni kumewekwa mzee na mama amekaa pale, ukiingia na kupiga pambaja anakushika mashavu, ili zile picha zirushwe katika vyombo vya habari ione kwamba mangavana wanafanya kazi. Na mimi husema kwamba kweli watu tunachaguana, na unajua Swahili husema kimbembacho kikivunja nafuu kwa mchukuzi, lakini kama kuna mahali ya tambu ambapo watu wanafaa kuja kuona kifo kwa macho ni Kirinyaga, katika idara ambayo inapeana afya katika pale Kirinyaga. Nikimalizia nitasema ya kwamba ni vizuri wale wahusika na wale madaktari ambao wanahusika kutupatia afya, ambao wanahakikisha kwamba tuko hai, waweze kulipwa pesa zao wakati unaofaa. Wale ni wazazi, wanalipa kondi na wanalipa pia karo za shule ili waweze kutufanyia kazi. Asante sana Mstahiki Speaker.
Asante. Senator Moses Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, I also would wish to emphasize a few matters raised by Senator Sifuna, the senator from Nairobi, particularly with regards to the community health practitioners. Mr. Speaker, in the last session, you directed a small delegation to go into mediation with the National Assembly over the county government's additional allocation bill. I was privileged to be part of that delegation. And Mr. Speaker, I believe that the leader of our delegation, Senator Mutinda, ought to bring a report back to this House because mediation collapsed. The talks have collapsed because the National Assembly is insistent that the Road Maintenance Levy Fund should not go to county governments, but should go to the Kenya Rural Roads Agency. The relevance between the additional allocations bill and Senator Sifuna's statement is that the money that community health practitioners are supposed to get
was included in the schedule of the additional allocations. Mr. Speaker, you recall when you were in Turkana, we processed the health laws, and there were 4 laws. Mr. Speaker, they are some of the worst laws we have ever written. When you look at them, when you reflect on what we did in Turkana, we need to do a legislative impact analysis so that we clean up those laws. Part of the laws we passed, we allowed the national government to pay community health practitioners half their salary and county governments to pay half the salary. 2,500 national government, 2,500 was to come from county governments. We have a situation, Mr. Speaker, where you find that the national government has sent 2,500, but the county government has not. Or the county government has sent 2,500 and the national government has not. That is not the way to treat our frontline health workers and the people that we are entrusting to deliver the dream of universal health. Mr. Speaker, if we do not resolve that impasse, then it means that we don't have a proper legal framework for payment of community health practitioners. I am told right now the national government is sending the full amount direct to them. But that is killing devolution, because these are employees and agents of county governments. They cannot be converted to be agents of the national government. We need to deal with this matter as a matter of urgency. And Mr. Speaker, even though I've seen a motion or notice of a motion in the order paper that we will be dissolving committees, the health committee, the gentlemen and women who will go into that health committee, I want to urge them that the first inquiry that they should embark on, and I think this House must also register its compliments to Governor Senator Mandago for the robust manner in which he has handled the Health Committee as chair, because he has brought visibility to the Senate and visibility to the activities of that committee. But this issue of social health authority, Mr. Speaker, we must go back to those laws that we passed in Turkana. The issue of registration of indigents, I think they are called indigents. When we were in Naivasha, we were told by the Commission on Revenue Allocation that the health data that is coming from county governments cannot be trusted. And it was on that basis that they dropped the old indicators or the old variables that we were using for dividing revenue amongst county governments. Why? Because they claim that counties are either underreporting or overreporting. We saw a typical case where in a certain year you had 90,000 hospital admissions, and then today you have 400,000 hospital admissions. Are we going to trust the records and the data that is coming out of this SHA registration being done by the community health professionals? County governments have already known that if more money is sent to those facilities. Mr. Speaker, let us be honest with ourselves. Our county governments are gaming the system. They know that if a health facility registers more people, more money will go there. And they are going to register ghost people because there is no cost to registration. Once you register, there's a capitation of 900 shillings that goes to that facility. The second thing we have to ask ourselves is whether that capitation of 900 shillings is adequate to provide universal health. Mr. Speaker, the third thing that this committee must investigate is the issue of medical equipment placement. Mr. Speaker, that thing is a scam. We said it in my committee, and the next day the president was at the coast. He said that our heads are not proper because we are questioning that matter. We shall continue questioning things that do not make sense because they touch on the most vulnerable in this country. Mr. Speaker, as this committee processes this statement, I do pray that they are going to launch a full inquiry into the state of universal health, into the state of legislation, into the welfare and plight of community health practitioners. But, Mr. Speaker, please direct that the team that went into mediation with the National Assembly should bring back a report. I know it is not in our standing orders, but if 42 billion cannot go to counties because of failure of mediation, Mr. Speaker, I believe that that committee or that delegation has a responsibility to come back. I support Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Kajwang, and welcome back. Senator Karen Nyamu.
Oh, will you? Oh, it's on now, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank my head of delegation, Nairobi delegation, Senator Sifuna, for bringing this very important statement before the floor of the House. Last year, Senator Sifuna did convene a meeting of 1,000 towards the end, during the recess, towards the end of last year, in the December holidays. He did convene, as part of our Oversight, Nairobi Delegation Oversight Program, a meeting of 1,000 CHPs from Nairobi County, where we got this very key feedback, very shocking feedback, actually, Mr. Speaker. The CHPs are operating without the phones that have the latest technology. They're doing very key role to register even the share of the people in the ground using very poor facilitation, if what the phones they're using is anything to go by, Mr. Speaker. The mood of the country right now is to embrace universal health care. And that should be reflected in how we facilitate, in how we empower our CHPs. Mr. Speaker, we cherish the work that they do, bridging the gap between the ground and the health facilities and the health institutions and the health care providers, Mr. Speaker. I want to urge the committee, the health committee, as they investigate what Sifuna has presented, to come up with proposals that are going to empower this very key component of universal health care. 107,000 in the country, 7,800 in Nairobi, doing a very key role in the health sector, Mr. Speaker. Find ways and propose ways where we can empower them so that this key role is effectively done, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Eddie Okech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue of community health workers, I think that we as a House must pronounce these community health promoters as at-risk population. I think that when we use very palatable and educative terms like what Senator of Homa Bay has used, and you say they are frontline workers, health workers, then it sounds really beautiful. But I think that we need to call them an at-risk population. And this is my reason, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want you to picture a community health promoter who every single day has to go to a house to go and check on a TB patient that they don't know as TB, or any other infectious diseases that they might interact with these different patients that they don't know are patients. Because the way this happens, Mr. Speaker, is that they are the first people to engage our people on the ground without capacity to, number one, detect any kind of diseases that the people they're interacting with might have. Number two, they don't have any kind of protection on themselves. Mr. Speaker, today if you walk in a hospital and got any basic nurse, they will have some basic equipment before they handle a patient. We are assuming the way the community health promoters have been taken in this country, Mr. Speaker, the assumption is very fundamental. The assumption is when they go to check on our people, most of them will be in good health. But the reality is, majority of community health promoters who end up going to interact with our people are interacting with sick people with communicable diseases and infectious diseases that they don't have control over. If they're not protected enough as frontline workers, health workers in this country, Mr. Speaker, it is a very sad state of affairs. Mr. Speaker, I don't know why I keep on calling Madam Speaker. I think I'm still seeing Madam Speaker Veronica on the seat. But Mr. Speaker, think about during adverse weather conditions, like what we have seen in Nairobi. I have seen a situation where the Senator of Nairobi, as well as myself, the Senator of Migori, being confronted by community health workers who have to go through floods, barefoot, to go and help people. And, Mr. Speaker, the cost of gumboots in Nairobi is just 700 shillings. Nairobi County has got 7,000 community health promoters. If you were to give them gumboots, it's only 4.9 million. Is 4.9 million, Mr. Speaker, that's a very small budget for a governor. But for me as a senator, that's a lot of money. I don't have it. When I'm confronted by community health workers, 7,000 of them, right? I know Cheriot, Senator Cheriot is a majority. Perhaps he has got some other pockets. But me as senator for Migori, we have got 3,011 community health workers in Migori, Mr. Speaker. If they confront me to buy them gumboots, I cannot be able to buy for them, Mr. Speaker. So I think that this inquiry must be a special inquiry in Senate. Because without them, our people will face a lot of problems. But with them, also being exposed to other diseases, we are getting more people sick. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, very lastly, Mr. Speaker, we haven't addressed the issue of community health volunteers before they became community health promoters. In Migori County, for instance, Mr. Speaker, when we passed the law to go from community health volunteers to community health promoters, we had over 2,500 community health volunteers. And the bill in Migori County, Mr. Speaker, was 83 million in stipend to those people who had worked for years as community health volunteers. They have never been paid, Mr. Speaker. I think that as a House, we must, just like we have been fighting for councillors to get their compensation and any other people who have worked in this country without ever getting their fair share of their service, we must work hard and make sure that community health volunteers who were there before community health promoters are also given their money and they are paid their dues because they served and they served diligently. With that, Mr. Speaker, I support and I hope that the committee will put a proposal to actually lead to a proper inquiry into this issue of community health promoters. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. The last two speakers, because of time, will be Senator Kisang on this side and Senator Minority Leader on this side. Senator Kisang, please be very brief. We are out of time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be very brief because of what you've just said. Honorable Speaker, I want to comment on the statement by Senator for Nairobi. Honorable Speaker, the community health promoters are the same ones who used to do volunteer work before the laws were passed. And these are people who have done great work for the last maybe several 10, 20 years. And Honorable Speaker, if you talk to them, most of them are suffering because the governors, the county governments are not paying them the 2,500 stipend every month. But luckily, at least they are getting the one from the national government regularly. In fact, I interviewed a few of them during the recess, and they are getting from the national government, but the county governments, they delay as far as even 4 months, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we would also maybe propose that the county governments attach these particular community health promoters, Honorable Speaker, to a particular health facility, maybe a dispensary or a health center, or even a level 3 or level 4 hospital, Honorable Speaker, so that in between, maybe regularly they get trained, because we are also saying they have not been exposed to training, so that, you know, when they get some emergencies, they have some basic trainings, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, even as this particular statement goes to the committee, we also want the health committee to look at the statement very well and see, maybe even propose some changes Because also 5,000 alone, Honorable Speaker, is not enough. These are people who are doing very useful work. If they get basic knowledge, so that they can also help in preventing some common diseases, Honorable Speaker, this we could increase the stipend to about 10,000, so that they can move around. In fact, what Senator Ed said is to give them campboots. In fact, we need to propose, Honorable Speaker, if possible, a cluster of them within a particular ward. The governors can buy for them motorbikes, so that it's easy for them to move around, and give them resources for fuel, so that they can reach our people in good time, and also assist if there are any emergencies. Honorable Speaker, I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, kwanza nataka kupatia kongole seneta wa Nairobi ndugu yangu Edwin Sifuna kwa kuleta taarifa hii ama mswada huu ambao ni muhimu sana kwa watu walioko mashinani kote nchini. Bwana Spika, tukiangalia kitu cha kwanza ni kwamba hoja hii nikiunga mkono kwa dhati ni kwa sababu ya kwamba wale wanaofanya kazi katika vijijini ni watu muhimu sana, na inatakikana kwa ukweli waangaliwe na zile kaunti wanazotoka. Bwana Spika, ni jambo la aibu kuona kwamba hapa Nairobi, ambapo ni jiji kubwa, jiji letu la hapa Kenya, leo linaweza kuwa na watu wanaojitolea kufanya kazi katika community ama katika jamii. Ili wakiwa wamejitolea namna hiyo, ni kwamba wao pia lazima waangaliwe kwa uangalifu. Lakini tukisikia kwamba hawaangaliwi, leo watu wanaenda na miguu kavu, yaani yale maguu yao hayavai hata zile tunazita za kuvaa kama slippers, ama sijui tunaita tunaweza kuziita namna gani, lakini vile viatu ambavyo zaidi sana ndugu zetu wa Kikamba huwa wanavaa za mpira, ni kwamba akala ama zinaitwa kwa jina la I think la Kijaluo zinaitwa akala. Sasa ikiwa wanatembea na viatu kama hivyo, ni watu ambao hawana gumboots kama alivyosema katika taarifa yake ndugu yetu katibu wa chama cha ODM na ndugu yetu Sifuna. Ni kwamba ikiwa hali kama hizi, hali tetesi kama hizi, hawa watu wana dalili za kwamba wanaweza kupata ugonjwa wakati wowote, ama wanapata magonjwa na alafu hawana njia za kwenda kuona kwa daktari, kwa sababu hata hii insurance inaitwa SHA ama SHI haifanyi kazi ama haitambuliwi. Bwana Spika, sisi wenyewe tukiangalia upande wetu wa huko nyumbani Kilifi, tutaona ya kwamba kuna jiji kubwa kama la Mtwapa, jiji kubwa kama la Malindi, jiji kubwa kama la Mariakani, Kaloleni na miji mingine kama Kilifi Town. Bwana Spika, kuna watu pia wamejitolea, na ingekuwa muhimu zaidi zile serikali zetu za ugatuzi ziweze kuwaangalia hawa wanaofanya kazi ya kujitolea ama wanaofanya kazi katika jamii, ili waweze kuona watapata faida gani, ili wakiwa wanajua kabisa kwamba wanaangaliwa vilivyo kiafya wakati wote wakiwa ni wagonjwa. Hususan tunasema ya kwamba wao wanaweza kupewa vifaa vya kufanyia kazi, sio vile ambavyo wananunua wenyewe alafu wanajitolea. Miaka mingi iliyokwisha tunajua kuna kina mama walikuwa wanazalisha watu, wao walikuwa si madaktari kama Dr. Khadwale. Ndugu yetu Dr. Khadwale anaweza kutueleza kabisa ya kwamba katika miaka ile iliyokwisha tulikuwa na kina mama ambao walikuwa ni wale wanaitwa wakunga, wazalishaji wa kina mama. Si lazima watu waende hospitali, na walikuwa experts kulikuwa hakuna haja ya kukatwa, sijui unakatwa inaitwa cesarean, hakuna, lakini walikuwa wanazalisha, na si kila mama alikuwa anaweza kwenda hospitali kuzaa. Watu kama wale walikuwa wanaangaliwa na zile maeneo wanayoketi ya munisipaa, walikuwa wanaangaliwa na wanalipwa. Kwa hiyo tunataka jukumu kama hilo pia liweze kutekelezwa kiukamilifu zaidi katika serikali zetu za ugatuzi. Mimi naunga hii statement ya katibu wetu wa ODM ndugu yetu Sifuna. Asante sana.
Senator Mofire.
Honorable Speaker, for capturing my Honorable Speaker, I want to start from the onset by congratulating Senator Sifuna because he has brought up very critical point in this arrangement. And I think, Honorable Speaker, because this matter might be referred to the Committee of Health, committee should make sure that this matter is replicated in all counties, because this is a very crucial aspect that has been initiated in our counties, Honorable Speaker. But counties have not been able to make sure that these people are endowed with resources that are required to make sure that they work efficiently, they work effectively, and in a very good environment, Honorable Speaker. This is a brilliant idea because these are the people who are down to the earth and they are reaching to every patient at home. But I think the counties must move with speed and make sure that they equip this team so that maybe they can be able to realize the aim of having this team on the ground. So, Honorable Speaker, I think because this matter might respond to the Committee of Health, the committee should move with speed and make sure that this matter is investigated across the country so that we can have all those the CSVs being equipped, being given the necessary equipment to make sure that they realize their goals as a team. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Senator Onyonka Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My words will be very, very short because I know we've run short of time. I just wanted to reiterate what my colleagues have said, Mr. Speaker. And sometimes these are the contradictions in our country, that when you look at and evaluate what we're doing, that which that is significant and that is substantive, that needs to be done quickly to support our poor people, make sure that the health services improve and they succeed, then we don't pay the service providers. But the money that is supposed to be given to these service providers, you find goes into something which now is producing a lot of noise, which now has produced a lot of questions, which now the Auditor General has already pronounced themselves that we are having 46 billion shillings where we are buying treasury bills. And yet the money for the community health workers, which is about 6 billion shillings, could easily have come out of that. And that is the point, Mr. Speaker, I would like to emphasize. Can we start looking at the prioritization of the issues which are affecting our people and begin to spend money there? Right now, our people don't want houses. They want medicines, water, and food. Let us concentrate on agriculture. Let us concentrate on provision of water and the health services, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Cherargei Samson.
Mr. Speaker, you need to protect me from the majority whip. Mr. Speaker, I want to just comment on two statements. One is on the issue of Kenya Railways. Mr. Speaker, it is very tragic and sad that the Kenya Railways has so many properties in prime places in this country, especially major towns including Nairobi, including Eldoret, Kisumu, Mombasa. When you go to every part of this country, Mr. Speaker, where the railway line did pass, Mr. Speaker, it has huge potential, Mr. Speaker. It is sad that the current management led by Managing Director of Kenya Railways are running Kenya Railways like their own shop, Mr. Speaker, where they are leasing and selling properties of Kenya Railways, Mr. Speaker. In fact, Mr. Speaker, railways should be able to finance themselves and even extend the railway line from Kedong through Bomet to Kisumu onward to Tanzania, Mr. Speaker. Even to maintain this railway from here to Eldoret, to Malaba and into Uganda, Mr. Speaker. Because the Kenya Railway has the huge potential, Mr. Speaker. The current managing director and management of Kenya Railways must be called to order, Mr. Speaker. And in fact, the EACC should be on this, Mr. Speaker, because some of us are aware that the managing director and the management have been selling properties that belong to Kenya Railways. And the worst thing, Mr. Speaker, is that they have been evicting people who have leases. Why would you give somebody lease and then evict them? What is the justification, Mr. Speaker? For the last many years, the turnover of Kenya Railways, Mr. Speaker, in terms of sales has approached 10 billion. But if you ask the MD and management of Kenya Railways, they cannot tell you, Mr. Speaker. The Kenya Railways, even here in Nairobi, if the Kenya Railways was being properly run, we should have a metro system within Nairobi City County, Mr. Speaker, to alleviate the gridlock and the jam that we face, Mr. Speaker, so that Kenyans don't need to pay for expressway to somebody we don't know in Moja, that we don't know even how much expressway is collecting per day, Mr. Speaker. Can you believe in this country, somebody is collecting our money and we don't know how much it is, Mr. Speaker? Therefore, Kenya Railways, Mr. Speaker, must be called to order. The managing director should be suspended. The EACC, Mr. Speaker, should take Kenya Railways is now a crime scene. It is a crime scene, Mr. Speaker. And I want to challenge the new EACC. Instead of arresting traffic officers who are collecting 250 shillings, they should be going for this big fish. They should be going for this mbota, Mr. Speaker. They should be going for these wells that are destroying the image of this country, Mr. Speaker. Why would we borrow more money for SGR, yet Kenya Railways turnaround can be done for the benefit of this country, Mr. Speaker? The new EACC CEO, Mr. Abdi, take charge. We want to see somebody being prosecuted at Kenya Railways, Mr. Speaker. And even I want to ask the committee to invite me, Mr. Speaker, pro bono. I have a more better dossier against the MD and management of Kenya Railways that will shock this country. Leave alone the one of Senator Onyonga. That was just like Nollywood. I'll be bringing Hollywood in the engagement, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, secondly, on the issue of Senator Sifuna CH fees, community health promoters, I want to thank the President and the Council of Governors for stepping in, Mr. Speaker. I think as a country, we should move in for preventive and promotive health care in this country. What Senator Sifuna has raised is of great concern, that we need to properly remunerate, give the CHPs capacity, so that as they go through villages, as they go through Iya Mukuru, Kwanjenga, Kibra, Mr. Speaker, in Kapkeben, where I come from, in Homa Bay, in Mombasa, Mr. Speaker, so that we can be able, if we remunerate, Mr. Speaker, give capacity to CHPs, Mr. Speaker, we can even prevent what we call mpox. Because if we ensure, and chikungunya, there was another disease that is in Mombasa called chikungunya. I don't know whether that's the correct statement. It's chikungunya. We can use, Mr. Speaker, those CHPs. Mr. Speaker, I was with you in Mandera, and you could see communities like where we were in Mandera, your county, in Wajir, Mr. Speaker, and I hope going into the future, Senator Cheruyot, Mr. Speaker, the majority leader, I wish he was listening. Mr. Speaker, I wish Senator Cheruyot was listening. And Mr. Speaker, when we went to Mandera, I want to assure him that we only visited projects. Mr. Speaker, because even, Mr. Speaker, if you go somewhere and take water, is it an offense, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask majority leader with tremendous respect. At least you should have, I know there is somebody who misbehave like Senator Sifuna, but that one we can sort it out in another way. But all of us, even Senator Onyonga was there, Mr. Speaker, yourself, you were there, and you saw, we were even asking, I want to inform majority leader, we were even asking how CHPs are, and they were appreciating, telling us, tell government. So, Mr. Speaker, it needs to be fair to members who go to see the projects that are happening in counties, Mr. Speaker. But he did a good job, of course, of promoting UDA. Mr. Speaker, that is, I want, and therefore we need the proper support going in the future. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I support the statement by Senator Sifuna and Senator Chute or Senator Shute, whichever is correct. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I support.
Senator Boni Kalwale.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity, but allow me to complain on behalf of the two delegations of students who've been in the gallery and you have not acknowledged them. Mr. Speaker, I think it is discrimination against those schools. Mr. Speaker, I want to compliment the Senator of Nairobi for the way you have demonstrated a serious understanding of a serious medical problem like the one we have in Nairobi and by extension in all the 47 counties of Kenya. My contribution is that the country is starting to wake up to basic needs of Kenyans. Health is a basic need, and it's just not enough when we address the issue of health, Mr. Speaker, to be viewing it through the spectacles of the doctors, the nurses, the professors, and the infrastructure. It is the primary health care that is the game changer in good health. Mr. Speaker, I therefore suggest that we develop a formal national program for community health promoters that will include, amongst other things, some form of training. Health promoters must be given basic training in areas like, Mr. Speaker, first aid, because more often than not, these people are the first line of defense as far as taking care of our patients is concerned. They should be trained, Mr. Speaker, on interpretation of the various results that they get. For example, when they do a blood pressure test, they do a blood sugar test, they should know so as to know how to respond appropriately. Mr. Speaker, it must also be understood, and the leader of minority tried to scratch on it, but let me just emphasize how important it is. It must be understood that majority of the women in Kenya, pregnant, are midwifed not by nurses, not by doctors, but by traditional birth attendants. And therefore, if a stipend is being given to community health promoters, all traditional birth attendants in all Kenyan communities must also be given that stipend. Finally, on that point, Mr. Speaker, it's a shame that we are talking about a stipend of 2,500 from the national government and 2,500 from the county government. What can you buy with 5,000 shillings? I mean, we are laughing at these professionals who are doing a very good job. This is money which sometimes when I pass through supermarkets, I see some people in Nairobi shopping for their dogs. The food they buy is more than what we pay our community health promoters. If we are doing it, we must be serious and do it well. And the money is there. The money you see people flashing around in church harambes. The money you see people hiring choppers to some funny functions in this country is the money that is supposed to give this kind of service, Mr. Speaker. And we shall not stop in calling out these corrupt characters who, after feeding on the proceeds of corruption, they show off and vomit on our shoes and vomit on the feet of our children who have no shoes when they are going to school. Mr. Speaker, I would like to end by commending the Senator Onyonga for the issue you have raised in Marani sub-county about licensing in mining. This problem is serious. It is in Nyatige, Makarda. It is in Ikoromani, Isulu, Lirembe, Malinya, Shikoye, Masienze. Mr. Speaker, it is in Shinyalu, Imwiriza, Liranda. It is in Lurambi, Mr. Speaker, in Rosterman. It is across, yes. Yes, you are right, Senator Faki. This is a cross-cutting issue which we must address. And gold mining and mining in general, it is so profitable that even when they do it at great risk, our children still go down there. We have to pay proper attention and support the mining industry. Today, as I speak, we are burying Chui in Shtori village, who perished last week in a gold mining danger after the walls caved in. Mr. Speaker, day after tomorrow, I'll be running to Kakamega to go and bury yet another youth. Not that we love funerals, but because if we don't stand with them, then what kind of people are we that people voted for when we don't stand with them during a time of need? And Mr. Speaker, talking about support to gold mining, I want to remind government over and over again that if you want to talk business with Kakamega County, come and talk about gold mining. Come and talk about sugarcane farming. If you are unable to talk about those two in Kakamega, we are sorry, we don't want to do any business with you. And this is why the people of Kakamega and the sober leaders, and for the first time I want to congratulate the governor of Kakamega. He has gotten it right on the issue of sugarcane farming. Mr. Speaker, we worked so hard to get it right until His Excellency the President 2 weeks ago came and paid our farmers bonus. And now, when things were just upright, another character called a receiver manager, in collaboration with corrupt fellows in Kenya Commercial Bank, they then tell Mr. Rai of West Kenya to come and interfere with the smooth running of Mumias Sugar Company by Sarbi. Mr. Speaker, this cannot be allowed. Sarbi has a valid lease agreement with Mumias Sugar Company, and there is only one Mumias Sugar Company in the world. There is no Mumias Sugar Company A or Mumias Sugar Company B. So if Sarbi has Mumias Sugar Company, he should be the only one milling, he should be the only one, Mr. Speaker, managing the ethanol plant. He should be the only one, Mr. Speaker, managing the Ecogen plant. An attempt to bring in the Cogen brand. Mr. Speaker, an attempt to bring in Mr. Rai of West Kenya is going to bring to a standstill the operations in Mumias. We will not allow. It will not be the first time that our leader will be having his limb broken in Mumias. We will do it another time. Honorable Benjamin Washiali, his hand was fractured because of Mumias Sugar Company. And on the same day, Mr. Speaker, my head was cut on the left side, if you look now, in Mumias Sugar Company, and I bled because we believe sugarcane farming is the lifeline of our people. I am warning the young politicians who are given, Salasia is doing a fantastic job about this job. He's on the same stand like me and the governor. I want to warn the young politicians from Kakamega who are being influenced to go and support the conmanship from West Kenya. Mumias Sugar Company will be run by Sarbi and not anybody else until you cancel the agreement.
Majority Whip, would you like to be informed by Senator Umtata?
Yes, I would like him to inform me. In fact, he's a presidential candidate. He's the right person.
Senator
the first
Umtata.
presidential candidate to inform me in my life.
Where is this parliament located? What kind of question is that? You don't mention the obvious. I would like to inform the Honorable Halwale, who may have forgotten, after the Kakamega incident, when the thugs were after you, yes, I gave you refuge. I gave you the documentation with which you silenced them.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, indeed, this is a great man. I had been cornered. I had been cornered with one of the people who are responsible for the collapse of Mumias. And if it had not been for the industry of the Senator of Busia, I would have been found liable for slander. So he gave me facts with which I faced the courts, and I want to thank the Senator of Kisumu. Oh, he's not in today. There's Professor Tom Ogienda. After he looked at my case, he was representing the guy who had sued me. Professor Ogienda then told the guy who was pursuing me that you have no chance with this kind of facts. Professor, you are a very good lawyer. Very few lawyers can tell their clients the truth.
Majority
Mr.
Whip,
Speaker, I conclude.
Would you like to be informed by Senator Cherargei?
Yes.
Senator Cherargei?
Mr. Speaker, I would like to inform Senator Kalwale, my neighbor, that also when you go to Kibos Sugar Factory, there is a plan for methanol and ethanol generation, but it has not been operational because of challenges and political interference. Would it be in order to request him to bring an inquiry with a possible chairman of Agriculture, Senator Wakoli, so that because me, Senator Kalwale, Senator Aaron, and Senator Wakoli and Senator Sifuna, we come from sugar cane growing areas, so that we resolve. But he's the biggest consumer, and Senator Okia or Mutata. But Mr. Speaker, but they are the biggest consumers of sugar. So he has a direct, and he has a farm in Boma that is a sugarcane farmer, a small-time sugarcane farmer. And Senator Okia, so that we form an inquiry, so that we can assist you, a very good friend called Sarbi. And I'm happy Sarbi is doing a good job in Kakamega and also to you. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I really appreciate the information. And because of the information, I want to send you the greetings of the people of Kakamega to the people of Nandi, especially Mosop. After we encourage them to grow sugarcane, every Thursday when they come to collect money at Butali Sugar Company, all our alcohol is sorted out, is finished, it is sold out, and the economy, Mr. Speaker.
Cherargei, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker.
Can you give Cherargei the mic? What's your point of order, Cherargei?
I'm out of order. Cherargei is also my good neighbor.
Give him the mic.
Mr. Speaker, on the standing order on accuracy of facts, is it in order for the Senator Kalwale to impute improper motive against the great people of Nandi by saying we are consumers of alcohol, that whenever we go and collect money in Nigeria and Putali Sugar Company, that my farmers end up taking alcohol? Is it in order? Mr. Speaker, can he apologize and withdraw? Mr. Speaker, most of us are Christians, Mr. Speaker, and Muslims, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, what in fact he should thank us. Mr. Speaker, Senator Kalwale should thank us, because apart from getting money, we also assist them with matrimonial duties, Mr. Speaker, and we have been able to leave seeds that when you go to Kakamega, they are now participating in athletics, courtesy of the fruits of our loins, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order?
Mr. Speaker, I don't know why the Senator of Nandi was running ahead of me. I just said, because of the way they promote our economy, you go and greet them. And I'd only singled out one. Allow me to also say that it has also resulted in an increased number of our women getting married in Mosop, which is a good thing because you pay dowry. As to whether you are good at the nuptial responsibilities, that is an agreement between a man and wife, I have no idea. I therefore, Mr. Speaker, want to thank the House for allowing me this afternoon to make this point very clear. It is not a joke. Butali Sugar Company is an economy of 10 billion shillings a year in Kakamega. West Kenya is an economy of 24 billion shillings in Kakamega. And Mumia Sugar Company is an economy of 40 billion shillings in Kakamega. Anybody coming to play around with it, using the money of farmers to buy a few MCAs to start supporting Mr. Rai, is missing the point. Mr. Rai, I assure you from this floor that I'm going to protect you. Government will protect you to do your business in West Kenya. Please allow Sarbi to do his business in Mumias. There is no contradiction. I know you are unhappy because through the new law,
Senator
thanks to this
Cheriot,
House,
what is your point of order?
Neighbors.
Mr. Speaker.
Neighbors.
I use this one. Mr. Speaker, because my good friend Senator Alwale appears to be fairly knowledgeable in this matter that he is raising, will he perhaps, for the understanding of the rest of us, help explain the intricacies that you are reading about this complex relationship that he's trying to describe? You can see actually he's vowing on one side of his mouth that he will protect Mr. Rai because he's a big investor in his own county, while on the other hand admonishing him not to interfere with the operations of Mumias. What I have read in the papers, and the good majority whip can help us appreciate, is that Mumias Sugar Company is under receivership. That the receiver manager has allowed the man is calling Sarai to run the sugar mill. But then they are insisting that because the other two businesses are unrelated to this one, they want to allow another player to run as well. That's what the media is reporting. Could he perhaps help us or even furnish the House with better information? Because we are all interested to see that town of Mumias grow to the levels that it used to be before Mumias Sugar Company went down. And it will be very exciting if actually that region and that industry was to come up. So I don't know, Senator Boni Alwale will be better placed to educate us and inform us of what exactly is happening.
Senator Boni Kalwale, I hope you've understood the point of order raised by...
Yes, yes.
If you could please clarify on that.
Thank you, Leader of Majority. That is exactly the point. The mischief by the newspaper was lack of clarity. But the clarity is as follows. There is enough can for West Kenya to mill and support the 24 billion economy in its area. Enough for Butali Sugar to mill and support the 10 billion economy. And enough for Mumias to support 40 billion because Mumias also uses Busia farmers. So they have got a bigger catchment area. Now, to run the ethanol plant, dear Kenyans, to run the ethanol plant, which is in Mumias, to run the Ecogen plant, which is in Mumias, you need raw materials. And those raw materials come from Mumias, the mill, the same mill, Mumias Sugar Company. Mr. Speaker, the ethanol plant, why we want Rai of West Kenya to keep off, is that the ethanol plant is in the same compound and in the same machine of Mumias Sugar Mills. The power generating plant similarly is in the same. The gate is one, the compound is one, the complex that produces these three things is one. So it is an administrative nightmare for the receiver manager to imagine that you can bring in two warring companies who are actually brothers to then have an opportunity to kill each other. We don't want to see Indians killing each other over our machine. We want to see Indians working over our machine. And Mr. Speaker, sir, this point is very important. It is not a question of impulse. It's a question that has been subjected to a decision of the High Court. The High Court has found that Rai has no entry point into Mumias Sugar Company because he had claimed that earlier on he had bought the ethanol and the Ecogen plant. So when challenged in court to demonstrate that he bought the only thing he could show was an agreement. Now, when challenged further, because an agreement can be drafted including on computers and River Road, when challenged to support that agreement with the actual payments that he made, he said he paid the money from Dubai and no evidence of bank transactions, and therefore the court ruled that RAI has no demonstrable interest in that company, and therefore ordered that Sarbi of Mumia Sugar Company to now proceed unhindered. So the only thing remaining is for this House to raise its voice, is for the national government to raise its voice so that there is peace in Kakamega. Mr. Speaker, since this problem started around 10 days ago, we have had 4 demonstrations by farmers who are pushing what I'm saying, and one occasion by MCAs who are carrying twigs, but they were chased away like dogs. I don't think they will try again. So, leader of my majority, it's now clear, and it's good for Kenya. You know why? Mumia Sugar Company in the last 12 months produced 100,000 tons. In the process, Kenya, which was being faced with a sugar deficit of 200,000 metric tons, Mumias by itself, 50% of that shortage, it cut it off. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the other factories then contributed to the extent that we have not imported sugar this time. So it is not something you can interfere with. And what's more, West Kenya Sugar, Mumia Sugar Company, on Thursday, pays 194 million shillings to our farmers per week, every Thursday. You want me to keep quiet so that people who receive 194 million shillings in Kakamega can be shortchanged due to the greed of Sarbi, of RAI? We know RAI. RAI sneaked into Webuye Sugar Company, and Wakoli is here. Not Mumia Sugar. He sneaked into Pan Paper and cheated that he would revive Pan Paper. Today there is no Pan Paper. It is now being used. It was used shamefully last year for the fake fertilizer as storage. That is how RAI wants to do his business. The same RAI is the one who led to the collapse of the timber industry. You all remember, people of Washington Gishu, the RAI ply fiasco. We can't allow business people of this type. Mr. Speaker, it's starting to look good. The president appears to understand sugarcane farming. We will keep on giving him information like I'm doing now for him to continue making decisions with clarity, because it is after I fed him with this kind of accurate information.
Senator Keroche Tabitha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity. And I really want to congratulate Senator Harware, on how passionate you are on the industries that are in Kakamega. Congratulations. But I want to tell you, as you are becoming so passionate about the Mumia Sugar Company, also become so passionate and support also, but I know you support them, the companies that add valuation to your sugar cane, like Keroche breweries. Also, when you're talking about Mumias, you must also talk of the Keroche breweries. And you should be worried whether it's opened. You should be asking whether it's open and it's operating. Because the minute it starts operating, it will be taking your ethanol, the one ethanol you're talking about, to make the vodka. And you can imagine the vodka from Kenya, buy Kenya, build Kenya. I want to, I'm blessing the chair. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so humbled and happy to see how passionate he is about the local industries. And I know it's not only the sugarcane industry, I know he's passionate about supporting the local industries and the local entrepreneurs. And he should it should be echoed, isn't it? And it should continue, all of us supporting the local industries. I want to support the statement read by Senator Sifuna, the Deputy Minority Whip, on the community health promoters. I agree with the Senator Harwane that 5,000 is solely true to the community health persons, and can buy very true. But it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. 2,500 is always paid by the national government. 2,500 is paid by the county government. Mr. Speaker, sir, in Nakuru County, the community health promoters have not received their share, the 2,500 from the Nakuru County government, for the last 6 months. You can imagine how they are struggling. They are dying because of poverty, because they are not being supported by the county government. I really, as somebody who said, I think it's Senator Kajwang, the way the Committee for Health have done a good job. I've seen them fight also when we were crying for the War Memorial Hospital to be reopened. I know the Committee for Health were in the forefront to ensure that that hospital was opened. And I want really to thank the senators who supported that with the Committee of Health, because that hospital now is opened. All what we are waiting for now is to start the way it can start receiving the public. This can be open doors to the public, but at least it's open. The investors are in to ensure that it will be back to normal, and then the public of Nakuru and the surroundings can start now enjoying the services that are offered by the War Memorial Hospital. But this statement or this petition should be given to the Committee for Health, so that the first question is to ask why the county government of Nakuru has not paid the community health persons for the last 6 months. That is killing them, ensuring that they are demotivated even to do the work that they are given. And I know, I've been talking to them, they keep on begging even money even to buy little things for their family because they cannot afford. So Harwari was talking of 5,000. Our Nakuru County community health promoters have been receiving only the 2,500 from the national government, and I think it's a shame, because they are supposed to get the other 2,500 from the county government. So that will be one of the questions that we'll be asking the committee, to ensure that they call the county, our governor, to come here and to respond to them and to ask her why our community health promoters have not been paid for the last 6 months. That is killing them when they are still alive. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you.
Senator Joe Nyotu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand to also support the statement by the Senator for Nairobi regarding community health promoters, Mr. Speaker. And as I do this, I think I want to underscore the importance of health in each one, or for each one of us. Mr. Speaker, we can live without education. But Mr. Speaker, we cannot live without good health. That is why matters health. And again, this being the house that oversees devolution, and the health being a devolved function, Mr. Speaker, we must be very keen on matters health. Mr. Speaker, these community health promoters are the people that reach our constituents in the farthest of our counties, Mr. Speaker. They are the people that teach our communities about health. They are the people that check on the nutrition of our people. They are the people, Mr. Speaker, that that provide good, provide basic health education, Mr. Speaker, to our people. So these are servants that need, whose welfare need to be looked into with a lot of seriousness, Mr. Speaker. When you talk about 2,500 shillings paid by the county government and topped up by the national government, some 2,500, Mr. Speaker, needless to say, because it has been said, but this is very little money, especially considering the effect of inflation and the high cost of living that we continue witnessing in this country, Mr. Speaker. So I think it's important that when we enhance this particular stipend, both by the county and the national government. But the other sad thing is that little as it is, it does not come at the right time, Mr. Speaker. I have had an opportunity to talk to CHPs in my county, and the county stipend comes. If it gets late, maybe 2-3 months. But the stipend or the top up by the national government, Mr. Speaker, sometimes is delayed to over even 6 months. And this is something that we need to look at, even as we congratulate the government for having accepted to be topping up this particular stipend, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this particular group of people sometimes do not have the gadgets that they need. Because, of course, we are going digital in everything. Sometimes you'll meet them and they tell you they do not even have batteries for their gadgets, Mr. Speaker. And I think we need to call upon all the county governments, 47 of them, that they should not only pay the stipend of 2,500 shillings per month in time, if they will not enhance it, but they should also provide the important gadgets that this particular group of people or group of workers use in their day-to-day business, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I think we should also propose, and when the committee sits down to look into this, I've been a member of the health committee, but Mr. Speaker, of course, because of political expediency, I believe I'll not continue being member in that particular committee. We have been very keen on this matter as a committee, Mr. Speaker. And one of the things that we should also look into is how we can train these community health promoters, Mr. Speaker, in order for them to even be more equipped with knowledge in matters health, Mr. Speaker. And once, if and when, then we train them, we should be able to enhance their stipend, if not pay them a salary. Mr. Speaker, I think I don't have your protection. I think I'm talking to myself. But Mr. Speaker, I want to submit that this is a statement that needs to be supported by all of us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. And I believe that when the Committee on Health sits, it will take this matter very seriously and give it the priority that it needs. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, we have now received the supplementary order paper and will now move to order number 6. Clerk.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I request for your permission to do all the notices of motion because I have 4 of them.
Yes.
Thank you. The first notice of motion is approval of senators to serve in the Procedures and Rules Committee, that notwithstanding the resolution of the Senate made on the 13th of October 2022, constituting the select committees, the Senate resolves pursuant to Standing Orders number 191, 2, D and 199 to approve the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in the Procedure and Rules Committee, in addition to senators specified in Standing Order number 191, 2, A, B, and C. Number 1, Mohammed Abbas Sheikh. 2, Senator Joe Nyotu. 3, Senator Betts Siengo. The second notice of motion, Mr. Speaker, is approval of senators to serve in the Powers and Privileges Committee, that notwithstanding the resolution of the Senate made on the 13th of October 2022, constituting select committees, the Senate resolves pursuant to Section 15(1)(b)(2) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privilege Act and Standing Order 199 to approve the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in the Committees on Powers and Privilege, in addition to the Speaker of the Senate, who pursuant to Section 15(1)(b)(1) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privilege Act shall be the chairperson of the committee. 1. Senator Alexander Mundigi. 2. Senator David Wakoli. 3. Senator Esther Okenyuri. 4. Senator Ome Omatinga. 5. Senator Shakila Abdallah. 6. Senator Dr. Oburu. The third notice of motion that I'm giving, Mr. Speaker, is approval of senators to serve in the standing committees of the Senate. That notwithstanding the resolution of the Senate made on the 13th October 2022, constituting the select committees, the Senate resolves pursuant to Standing Order 199 and 228, the fourth schedule to standing orders, to approve the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in the standing committees of the Senate as follows. A. Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. 1. David Wakoli. 2. Alexander Mundigi. 3. Alan Chesang. 4. Wahome Wamatinga. 5. Mohamed Abbas Sheikh. 6. Moses Kajwang. 7. Hezena Lemaletian. 8. Catherine Muma. 9. Senator Tom Ojenda. B. Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations. 1. Senator Mohamed Abbas Sheikh. 2. Senator Peris Tobiko. 3. Senator Professor Margaret Kamar. 4. Senator Mohamed Chute. 5. Senator Karungo Dhangwa. 6. Senator Catherine Muma. 7. Senator Richard Onyonka. 8. Senator Dr. Oburu Oginga. 9. Senator Hezena. Education Committee. 1. Professor Margaret Kamar. 2. Seki Olekanar. 3. James Kamau Murango. 4. Nderitu John Kinywa. 5. John Methu. 6. Catherine Muma. 7. Jones Mwaruma. 8. Betty Montet. 9. Agnes Kavindu. D. Committee on Energy. Senator William Kisang, Danson Mungatana, Veronica Maina, Senator Dr. Boni Halwale, James Lomonen, Ledama Olekina, Edwin Sifuna, Oburu Oginga, Beatrice Ogola. E. Committee on Finance and Budget. 1. Senator Ali Roba. 2. Senator Tabitha Mutinda. 3. Senator Dr. Boni Halwale. 4. Senator Mariam Sheikh. 6. Senator Esther Okenyuri. 6. Senator Eddie Okech. 7. Senator Mohamed Mwinji Haji. 8. Senator Onyonka. 9. Senator Shakila Abdallah. F. Committee on Health. Senator Jackson Mandago, Senator Mariam Sheikh, Senator David Wakoli, Senator Tabitha Mutinda, Senator Joseph Githuku, Senator Justice Retired Stewart Mazayo. 7. Senator Ledama Olekina. 8. Senator Richard Onyonka. 9. Senator Hamida Kibwana. G. Information, Communication and Technology. The following senators: Alan Chesang, Miraj Abdillahi, William Kisang, Tabitha Keroche, Samson Cherargei, Hezena Lemaletian, Isa Boy Juma, Shakila Abdallah, Beatrice Ogola. H. Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee. The following senators: Senator Wakili Hilary Sigei, Rafael Chimera, Karen Nyamu, Veronica Maina, Senator William Cheptumo, Okia Omtata, Professor Tom Ojenda, Senator Crystal Asige, and 9. Dan Maanzo. I. Labor and Social Welfare. 1. Senator Julius Mugor. 2. Senator Lenku. 3. Senator Gloria Ruoba. 4. Senator Alexander Mundigi. 5. Senator Miraj Abdullahi. 6. Senator Stewart Mazayo. 7. Senator Okongo Mogeni. 8. Senator Crystal Asige. 9. Senator Beth Siengo. J. The Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources. Senator Leleguel Tumbesi, William Cheptumo, Joe Nyutu, Mariam Sheikh, James Murango, Mohamed Mwinyi Haji, Beatrice Ogola, Abdul Haji, Jones Mwaruma. K. Senate Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunities and Regional Integration. Mohamed Chute, Joyce Korir, Mwenda Gataya, Gloria Orwoba, James Lomonen, Daniel Maanzo, Okia Omtata, Beth Siengo, and Betty Montet. L, Senate Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations. 1, Adan Fatuma Dulo, Karen Nyamu, Julius Murgor, Tabitha Keroche, Joseph Githuku, Edwin Sifuna, Abdul Haji, Tomo Jenda, Okongo Omogeni. M, Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing. 1, Senator John Deritu Kinywa, Peris Tobiko, Mohamed Chute, Leleguel Tumbesi, Miraj Abdillahi, Enoch Wambua, Eddie Okech, Moses Kajwang, Crystal Asige. N, Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism. 1, Senator Esther Okenyuri, Senator Jackson Mandago, Senator John Methu, Senator Karungo Thangwa, Senator George Mbugwa, Senator Godfrey Osotsi, Senator Boy Isa, Senator Amida Kibwana, and 9, Senator Okia Omtata. Last but not least, Mr. Speaker, is notice of motion on the approval of senators to serve in the County Public Accounts Committee, County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee, and the Committee on Delegated Legislation. That notwithstanding the resolutions of the Senate made on 19th October 2022, constituting select committees, the Senate resolves pursuant to Standing Orders number 193, 194, 195, and 199 to approve the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in the select committees of the Senate as follows. A, the County Public Accounts Committee. The following senators: Samson Cherargei, Mwenda Gataya, Adan Dulo Fatuma, Leleguel Tumbesi, Moses Kajwang, Jones Mwaruma, Edwin Sifuna, Okongo Omogeni, Enoch Wambua. E, the County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee. The following senators: Senator Peris Tobiko, Rafael Chimera, George Mbugwa, William Kisang, Godfrey Osotsi, Eddie Okech, Agnes Kavindu, Beth Siengo, Hamida Kibwana. F, these are the senators to serve on the Committee on Delegated Legislation. Senator Mwenda Gataya, Danson Mungatana, Gloria Oruoba, Joyce Korir, Julius Murgor, Mohamed Munyehaji Faki, Betty Montet, Daniel Maanzo, and Senator Boy Isa Juma. Mr. Speaker, I give notice.
Honorable Senators, I hope you've all received the supplementary order paper. We will now proceed to order number 8. Clerk, please call the order.
Order number 8, motion, approval of senators to serve in the Procedure and Rules Committee.
Majority Leader, please move.
The first ones are procedural. The first two. Mr. Speaker, given that we'll do 4 motions on these approvals, it is important to hear the thoughts of members. Apologies, let me first even move the motion, then I'll share my thoughts, which is that notwithstanding the resolution and 6 Senator Dr. Oburu Odinga. This is another one like the previous one, Mr. Speaker, where I'd request that we take it in the format of a procedural motion so that we get a chance to ventilate in the more substantive motion on the senators serving in the various standing committees. With those main remarks, Mr. Speaker, I request Senator Justice Matsayo, retired, to second.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to second.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that notwithstanding the resolution of the Senate made on 13th October 2022, constituting select committees, the Senate resolves pursuant to Section 15(1)(b)(2) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act and Standing Order 199 to approve the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in the Committee on Powers and Privileges in addition to the Speaker of the Senate, who pursuant to Section 15(1)(b)(1) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act shall be the chairperson of the committee. Senator Alexander Mundingi MP, Senator David Wakoli MP, Senator Esther Okinyuri MP, Senator Wahome Wamatinga, MP, Senator Shakila Abdallah, MP, Senator Dr. Oburu Oginga, MP. There being no senators wanting to contribute, I shall put the question. I put the question that notwithstanding the resolution of the Senate made on 13th October 2022 constituting select committees, the Senate resolves pursuant to Section 15(1)(b)(2) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act and Standing Order 199 to approve the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in the Committee on Powers and Privileges in addition to the Speaker of the Senate, who pursuant to Section 15(1)(b)(1) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act shall be the chairperson of the committee. 1. Senator Alexander Mundingi, MP. Senator David Wakoli, MP. Senator Esther Okinyuri, MP. Senator Wahome Wamatinga, MP. Senator Shakila Abdallah, MP. Senator Dr. Oburu Oginga, MP. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. My apologies, senators. I've been sitting on this chair for too long. It's been a long day for me. Clerk, can we confirm that we have quorum? Okay. Honorable senators, I confirm that we actually do have quorum. Next order.
Order number 10, motion. Approval of senators to serve in the standing committees of the Senate.
Majority Leader.
In the standing committees of the Senate, that notwithstanding the resolution of the Senate made on the 13th of October 2022, constituting the select committees, the Senate resolves that pursuant to standing orders 199 and 228, the fourth schedule to the standing orders, to approve the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in the standing committees of the Senate as follows. A. Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, which is 1. The following senators: David Wakoli, Alexander Mundigi, Alan Chesang, Wahome Wamatinga, Mohamed Abbas Sheikh, Moses Kajwang, Hezena Lemaletian, Catherine Muma, Professor Tom Ojenda. B. Devolution and Intergovernmental Relation. The following senators: Mohamed Abbas Sheikh, Peris Tobiko, Professor Margaret Kamar, Mohamed Chute, Karungo Thangwa, Catherine Muma, Richard Onyonka, Oburu Oginga, Hezena Lemaletian. C. Education Committee, Professor Margaret Kamar, Senator Seki Olekanar, James Kamau Murango, John Deritu Kinywa, John Methu, Catherine Muma, Jones Mwaruma, Betty Montet, Agnes Kavindu. D. The following senators: Senator William Kisang, Danson Mungatana, Veronica Maina, Dr. Boni Halwale, James Lomonen, Ledama Olekina, Edwin Sifuna, Oburu Oginga, Beatrice Ogola. E. Finance and Budget Committee, the following senators: Ali Roba, Ibrahim, Tabitha Mutinda, Dr. Boni Halwale, Mariam Sheikh Omar, Esther Okenyuri, Eddie Okech, Mohamed Munyahaji Faki, Richard Onyonka, Shakila Abdallah. Health Committee F, the following senators: Jackson Mandago, Mariam Sheikh Omar, David Wakoli, Tabitha Mutinda, Joseph Githuku, Stewart Mazayo, Ledama Olekina, Richard Onyonka, Hamida Kibwana. G, which is Information, Communication and Technology. The following senators: Senator Alan Chesang, Miraj Abdillahi, William Kisang, Tabitha Keroche, Samson Cherargei, Hezena Lemaletian, Isaboy Juma, Shakila Abdallah, Beatrice Ogola. H, Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee, Senators Hilary Sigei, Rafael Chimera, Karen Nyamu, Veronica Maina, William Cheptumo, Okia Omtata, Tom Ojenda, Kristo Lasige, Daniel Maanzo. I, Committee on Labor and Social Welfare, the following senators: Julius Murgor, Lenku Olekanar, Gloria Orwoba, Alexander Mundigi, Miraj Abdullahi, Stewart Mazayo, Okongo Mogeni, Crystal Asige, Beth Siengo. J. Land, Environment and Natural Resources, the following senators: Leleguel Tumbesi, William Cheptumo, Joe Nyutu, Mariam Sheikh, James Murango, Mohamed Munyehaji Faki, Beatrice Ogola, Abdul Haji, Jones Mwaruma. K. Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunities and Regional Integration. 1. Senator Mohamed Chute. 2. Senator Joyce Korir. 3. Senator Mwenda Gataya. 4. Gloria Ruoba. 5. James Lomonen, Daniel Maanzo, Okio Mtata, Beth Siengo, Betty Montet. L. National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations. The following senators: Adan Fatuma Dulo, Karen Nyamu, Julius Murgor, Tabitha Keroche, Joseph Githuku, Edwin Sifuna, Abdul Haji, Tom Ojienda, Okongo Mogeni. M. Roads, Transportation and Housing. The following senators: John Deritu Kinywa, Peris Tobiko, Mohamed Chute, Leleguel Tumbes, Miraj Abdullahi, Enoch Wambua, Eddie Okech, Moses Kajwang, Senator Crystal Asige. N. Trade, Industrialization and Tourism. 1. Senator Esther Okenyuri. The following senators: Esther Okenyuri, Jackson Mandago, John Methu, Karungo Thangwa, George Mbugwa, Godfrey Osotsi, Boy Isa Juma, Hamida Kibwana, Okia Omtata. Mr. Speaker, it's now been 2 years and a few months since this fourth Senate commenced, and we have taken time to assess the performance of all our committees and the individual senators. There is no better chance than this particular time, Mr. Speaker, to grant the House the opportunity to evaluate and consider the various competence, regional balance, party diversity, so many things. A very difficult job, Mr. Speaker, of trying to balance the array of talent that we have in this House, Mr. Speaker. If there is a day, Mr. Speaker, that I feel completely stressed, sorry to say so, Mr. Speaker, is a day such as this. Because almost any senator can serve in any committee and perform as well. But, Mr. Speaker, we must also be cognizant of the fact that we are gifted and abled differently. And there are areas where people excel and other areas where, for one reason or the other, Mr. Speaker, you are valued to be better placed elsewhere, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, after consultation with the leadership of the House, together with colleague leaders from the other side of the aisle, Mr. Speaker, we have come up with this proposal to the House and are urging and seeking that the House do agree and support that we make these changes so that the committees can begin their work in earnest from tomorrow and the days thereafter, because this is a busy time, Mr. Speaker. We have the budget policy statement that we need to consider and so many other things that this House will be doing. There are only two things that I want to say. We must guard our integrity as a House, Mr. Speaker. And I want to say that we are deeply concerned as Senate Business Committee by certain accusations that continue to be leveled against maybe practices in the Senate which we cannot put our hands to. But we want to say that we shall be vigilant, Mr. Speaker. And that is why we have selected the members of the Powers and Privilege Committee and equally at SBC, where we shall keep keen attention to detail to ensure that our committees perform their duty in making sure that this House lives up to the expectation of Kenyans. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, is on the issue of attendance to committees. If you know that you don't have the time to attend a particular committee, I want to extend an olive branch that even after we pass this motion, please go to the office of the minority leader or the majority leader and request to be exempted from that particular committee. There is no need whatsoever, Mr. Speaker, for people to be listed as having been members in 1, 2, 3 committees while they know they don't have the time to serve in many other committees. People must appreciate that there is only so much that you can do as an individual, Mr. Speaker. As majority leader, for example, I know for a fact that given the demands of my office, both within and without the precincts of this parliament, it is not tenable for me to give maximum attention to the works of a committee, much as I wish to serve in some of the committees of this House. And therefore, for that reason, I have exempted myself from serving in any particular committee. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, you will find that there are members who, as a leadership, maybe we have felt that your competence will serve us better in a particular committee. But if you feel strongly about it that indeed you don't have the time and the opportunity to serve in that particular committee, we will avail the opportunity, Mr. Speaker, and I don't mind bringing another motion. We have done it many times before, Mr. Speaker, so that people can serve in committees where they feel they are comfortable to. Therefore, we shall be monitoring. Members, we are aware that by the time we were concluding last session, most committees were struggling for quorum. If a committee, Mr. Speaker, votes for 2 or 3 times because of absence of quorum, the better thing is to dissolve that committee and give other members an opportunity to serve there. Therefore, this is not a warning, it is not a threat, Mr. Speaker, but it is a fact that as SBC, we shall be checking on the attendance of committees, Mr. Speaker. There is a reason why registers are kept. There is no need to block spaces for other senators who want to serve in particular committees while you never have the time to attend that committee. If after 3 or 4 sessions we realize you have never showed up to a committee, the simple thing we'll do is to bring a motion to the House and request that you be exempted from that committee and allow other senators who are willing to serve in that particular committee. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, the point that I'm trying to make is as SBC, Senate Business Committee, we shall be extremely vigilant alongside the liaison committee, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that our committees perform optimally and they live up to the demands of the Constitution on what the committees of the various houses should do. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, because I can see time is moving, I know maybe colleagues may want to say 1 or 2 things about this particular issue, I don't know, or they'd wish that we proceed as was the case in the previous 2 other motions, Mr. Speaker. I want to end it at that, Mr. Speaker, because I am aware that we still have actually another motion on the other committees that we are yet to consider. And given that time is far much spent, Mr. Speaker, I don't think I need to say more than that. With those very many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and request the Leader of Minority, retired Justice Stewart Mazayo, to second. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mazayo.
Asante Mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, kwanza nataka kusema kwamba ilikuwa mtihani mkubwa sana kufikia hapa tulipofika hivi leo, kwa sababu kuchagua maseneta na kuwaweka katika hizi kamati ambazo tuko nazo ndani ya bunge la Senate si kazi rahisi. Kwa upande wa maseneta walio wachache, tumejaribu tunavyoweza ama inavyowezekana kuona kwamba kila tulemchagua ni seneta ambaye tunajua ni mkakamavu katika lile eneo ambalo tumempatia. Kwa hiyo mimi nataka kuunga tu mkono na kusema ya kwamba hawa maseneta wote ambao wameweza kuwekwa katika hii taarifa ya leo ni kwamba wana ujuzi, wanao taaluma, wanao akili na uwezo wa kutekeleza wajibu wa yale majukumu ambayo tumewapatia. Bwana Spika, tukiwa hapa hivi sasa na kwamba tumeweza kuwachagua hawa maseneta ambao watakuwa katika hizi kamati, Bwana Spika, si kazi rahisi. Mara nyingi tunaona kwamba kamati nyingi kama wakati ule mwingine tuliokuwa nao hazikuweza pengine kuendelea na mkutano kwa sababu maseneta wengine wamekuwa wamekosekana. Si kazi rahisi pia kuweza kujua maseneta wako na majukumu mengi katika zile nyadhifa wanazotoka, katika yale makaunti wanayotoka. Na katika hizo kazi zote ambazo wanazifanya ni kazi muhimu kwa taifa la Kenya. Lakini Bwana Spika, ni kwamba tumekuwa na upungufu saa nyingine ya kuwa na maseneta wanaokamilika ili kuweza kuendesha ule mkutano. Nataka tu kusema ya kwamba safari hii na mhula huu tuna hakika ya kwamba hawa tuliowachagua kutakuwa na mageuzi fulani na watafanya vilivyo ambavyo vinatakana kufanyika, kuona ya kwamba hizi kamati zitakuwa zinatenda wajibu wao. Bwana Spika, la mwisho tu mimi nataka kuwatakia kila laheri, nikiunga mkono hii list ya hawa wote tuliowaweka hapa na kuweza kusecond hii, ni kwamba nawatakia kila laheri katika haya majukumu. Si majukumu rahisi, lakini wananchi katika Kenya popote walipo wanaangalia kuona ya kwamba je, bunge la Senate safari hii litatekeleza wajibu wake, na niko na imani na nyinyi nyote maseneta mlioko hapa, kwa upande wa walio wengi na kwa upande wa walio wachache, sote tukishirikiana, nina imani ya kwamba tutaleta ile sifa yetu ambayo tunajulikana ya kwamba bunge la Senate ni bunge linaweza kutangaza, linaweza kukata kesi, linaweza kufanya kazi yake kisawasawa katika kamati zote za ndani zilizo ndani ya Senate na kuona haki imetendeka kwa Wakenya wote. Asante Bwana Spika. Naunga mkono.
Now, honorable senators, I now propose the question that notwithstanding the resolution of the Senate made on 13th of October 2022 constituting select committees, the Senate resolves pursuant to standing orders 199 and 228 and the fourth schedule to the standing orders to approve the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in standing committees of the Senate as follows. Under the Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, Senator David Wakoli MP, Senator Alexander Mundigi MP, Senator Alan Chesang MP, Senator, take your seat, Senator Lelengwe. Take your seat. I will proceed. Senator Wahome Wamatinga MP, Senator Mohamed Abbas Sheikh MP, Senator Moses Kajwang MP, Senator Hezena Lemaletian MP, Senator Catherine Muma MP, and Senator Professor Tom Ojenda MP. Under Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations, Senator Mohamed Abbas Sheikh, Senator Paris Tobiko, Senator Professor Margaret Kamar, Senator Mohamed Chute, Senator Karungu Thangwa, Senator Catherine Muma, Senator Richard Onyonka, Senator Dr. Oburu Oginga, and Senator Hezena Lemaletian. Under the Education Committee, Senator Professor Margaret Kamar, Senator Seki Lengu Olekanar, Senator James Kamau Murango, Senator Nderitu John Kinywa, Senator John Methu MP, Senator Catherine Muma, Senator John Sumaruma, Senator Betty Montet, and Senator Agnes Kavindu Mudhama. The Committee on Energy, the following: Senator William Kisang, Senator Danson Mungatana, Senator Veronica Maina, Senator Dr. Boni Halwale, Senator James Lomelen, Senator Ledama Olekina, Senator Edwin Sifuna, Senator Dr. Oburu Oginga, and Senator Beatrice Ogola. Committee on Finance and Budget, the following senators: Senator Ali Ibrahim Roba, Senator Tabitha Mutinda, Senator Dr. Boni Halwale, Senator Mariam Sheikh Omar, Senator Esther Okinyuri, Senator Eddie Okech, Senator Mohamed Mwinyihaji Faki, Senator Richard Onyonka, and Senator Shakila Abdallah. In the Committee of Health, Senator Jackson Mandago, Senator Mariam Sheikh Omar, Senator David Wakoli, Tabitha Mutinda, Senator Joseph Githuku, Senator Justice Retired Stewart Madzayo, Senator Ledama Olekina, Senator Richard Onyonka, and Senator Hamida Kibwana. Information, Communication and Technology, Senator Alan Chesang, Senator Miraj Abdillahi, Senator William Kisang, Senator Tabitha Keroche, Senator Samson Cherarkei, Senator Hezena Lemaletian, Senator Isa Jumaboy, Senator Shakila Abdallah, Senator Beatrice Ogola. Under the Committee Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, Senator Wakili Hilary Sigei, Senator Raphael Chimera, Senator Karen Nyamu, Senator Veronica Maina, Senator William Cheptumo, Senator Okia Omtata, Senator Professor Tom Ojenda, Senator Crystal Asige, and Senator Daniel Maanzo. Committee on Labor and Social Welfare, Senator Julius Mulgor, Senator Lenku Seki Olekanar, Senator Gloria Orwoba, Senator Alex Mundigi, Senator Miraj Abdullahi, Senator Justice Retired Stewart Madzayo, Senator Okongo Omogeni, Senator Crystal Asige, and Senator Beth Sienko. Under the Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources, Senator Dr. Lelengwe Lutumbesi, Senator William Cheptumo, Senator Joe Nyutu, Senator Mariam Sheikh Omar, Senator James Murango, Mohamed Mwinyi Haji Faki, Senator Beatrice Ogola, Senator Abdul Haji, and Senator Jones Maruma. Under the Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration, Senator Mohamed Chute, Senator Joyce Korir, Senator Mwenda Gataya Mofaya, Senator Gloria Orwoba, Senator James Lomenen, Senator Daniel Manzo, Senator Okia Omtata, Senator Beth Siengo, and Senator Betty Monted. Under the Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, Senator Adan Fatuma Dulo, Senator Karen Nyamu, Senator Julius Mulgor, Senator Tabitha Keroche, Senator Joseph Githuku, Senator Edwin Sifuna, Senator Abdul Haji, Senator Professor Tom Ojenda, and Senator Okongo Omogeni, Senior Counsel. Committee on Transport, Roads and Housing, Senator John Nderitu Kinywa, Senator Peris Tobiko, Senator Mohamed Chute, Senator Dr. Lelengwe Lutumbesi, Senator Miraj Abdullahi, Senator Enoch Wambua, Senator Eddie Okech, Senator Moses Kajwang, and Senator Crystal Asige. Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism, Senator Esther Okinyuri, Senator Jackson Mandago, Senator John Methu, Senator Karungo Thangwa, Senator George Mbugwa, Senator Geoffrey Osotsi, Senator Boy Isa Juma, Senator Hamida Kibwana, and Senator Okia Omtata. Now, honorable members, I'm noticing that there are members who are keen on contributing to this particular motion. Let us, very well, by consensus, we put the question. Thank you, honorable members. Now, having agreed with the members, I now proceed to put the question that, notwithstanding the resolution of the Senate made on 13th October 2022 constituting select committees, the Senate resolves pursuant to Standing Orders 199 and 228 and the fourth schedule to the Standing Orders to approve the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in the standing committees of the Senate as follows. A. Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, Senator David Wakoli, Alex Mundigi, Alan Tesang, Wahome Wamatinga, Mohamed Abashik, Moses Kajwang, Hesena Lemaletian, Catherine Muma, and Senator Professor Tom Ojenda. B. Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations, Senator Mohamed Abbas Sheikh, Senator Peris Tobiko, Professor Margaret Kamar, Mohamed Chute, Karungo Thangwa, Catherine Muma, Richard Onyonka, Dr. Oburu Oginga, and Hezena Lemaletian. C. Education, Senator Professor Margaret Kamar, Seki Lengu Olekanar, James Kamau Murango, Nderitu John Kinywa, John Methu, Catherine Muma, Jones Maruma, Betty Montet, and Agnes Kavindu Mudama. D. Energy, Senator William Kisang, Danson Mungatana, Veronica Maina, Dr. Boni Halwale, James Lomenen, Ledama Olekina, Edwin Sifuna, Dr. Oburu Oginga, and Beatrice Ogola. E. Finance and Budget, Senator Ali Ibrahim Roba, Tabitha Mutinda, Dr. Boni Halwale, Mariam Sheikh Omar, Esther Okinyuri, Eddie Okech, Mohamed Mwinyi Faki, Richard Onyonka, and Shakila Abdallah. F. Health, Senators Jackson Mandago, Mariam Sheikh Omar, David Wakoli, Tabitha Mutinda, Joseph Kithuku, Justice Retired Stewart Madzayo, Ledama Olekina, Richard Onyonka, and Hamida Kibwana. G. Information, Communication, and Technology, Senators Alan Tesang, Miraj Abdillahi, William Kisang, Tabitha Keroche, Samson Chirarkei, Hezena Lemaletian, Isa Boy Juma, Shakila Abdallah, and Beatrice Ogola. H. Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights, Senators Wakili Hilary Sigei, Raphael Chimera, Karen Nyamu, Veronica Maina, William Cheptumo, Okia Omtata, Professor Tom Ojienda, Crystal Asige, and Daniel Manzo. I. Labor and Social Welfare, Senators Julius Murgor, Lenku Seki Olekanar, Gloria Orwoba, Alexander Mundigi, Miraj Abdillahi, Justice Retired Stewart Mazayo, Okongo Omogeni, Senior Counsel, Crystal Asige, and Beth Siengo. J. Land, Environment, and Natural Resources, Senators Dr. Lelengwe Lutumbesi, William Cheptumo, Joe Nyutu, Mariam Sheikh Omar, James Murango, Mohamed Mwinyi Haji Faki, Beatrice Ogola, Abdul Haji, and Jones Maruma. K. National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity, and Regional Integration. Senators Mohamed Chute, Joyce Korir, Mwenda Gataya Mofaya, Gloria Orwoba, James Lomenen, Daniel Manzo, Okia Omtata, Beth Siengo, and Betty Montet. L. National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations. Senators Adan Fatuma Dulo, Karen Nyamu, Julius Murgor, Tabitha Keroche, Joseph Kithuku, Edwin Sifuna, Abdul Haji, Professor Tom Ojienda, and Okongo Omogeni, Senior Counsel. M. Roads, Transport, and Housing. Senators John Nderitu Kinywa, Peris Tobiko, Mohamed Chute, Dr. Lelengwe Lutumbesi, Miraj Abdillahi, Enoch Wambua, Eddie Okech, Moses Kajwang, and Crystal Asige. And N. Trade, Industrialization, and Tourism. Senators Esther Okinyuri, Jackson Mandago, John Methu, Karungu Thangwa, George Mbugwa, Godfrey Osotsi, Juma Isa Juma Boy, Hamida Kibwana, and Okia Omtata. Now, honorable members, will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Clerk, call the next order, please.
Order number 11, motion, approval of senators to serve in the County Public Accounts Committee, County Public Investment and Special Funds Committee, and the Committee on Delegated Legislation.
Majority Leader, please proceed to move.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the following motion, which is approval of the senators to serve in the County Public Accounts Committee, County Public Investments and Counties and Special Funds Committee, and the Committee on Delegated Legislation, that pursuant to Standing Orders number 193, 194, 195, and 199, the Senate approves the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in the select committees of the Senate as follows. A. County Public Accounts Committee, the following senators: Senator Samson Cherargei, Mwenda Gataya, Adan Dulo, Lelengwe Lutumbesi, Moses Kajwang, Jones Mwaruma, Edwin Sifuna, Okongo Omogeni, and Enoch Wambua. B. The County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee, the following senators: Senator Peris Tobiko, Raphael Chimera, George Mbugwa, William Kisang, Godfrey Osotsi, Eddie Okech, Agnes Kavindu, Beth Siengo, and Hamida Kibwana. C. The Committee on Delegated Legislation, Senator Mwenda Gataya, Danson Mungatana, Gloria Orwoba, Joyce Korir, Julius Murgor, Mohamed Mwinyi Haji Faki, Betty Montet, Daniel Manzo, Isa Boy. Mr. Speaker, this one is extremely straightforward. It's our main oversight committees on matters fiscal responsibilities of various counties and overseeing the audit reports. The only challenge I want to give to the members that serve in this committee is that there is quite a huge backlog of reports that this House needs to consider. I want to plead that perhaps they guide the House on, we can dedicate even certain days of the week to purely consider the various reports that as a committee you have considered, especially on the recommendations that you'll be requesting of us as a House. We want to see more far-reaching recommendations on the conduct of our county governments, perhaps with special funds or even the shareable revenue. Any funds that are public money, so long as they haven't been put to good use, Madam Speaker, I want to challenge that perhaps this committee can guide us on how we can better hold our various county governments to account, Mr. Speaker, including sanctions against individuals that continue to perpetuate malfeasance of public funds in our various institutions. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I know that the men and women that have been granted the opportunity to serve in this committee will do an exemplary job and will lead its house in fulfilling its mandate. With those very many remarks, I beg to move and request the Senator for Kilifi and the leader of the minority, Senator Retired Justice Stewart Mazayo, to second. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Stewart Mazayo.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, nataka kuanza kuunga mkono wale wote waliochaguliwa hapa katika hizi kamati zote tatu. Kamati hizi tatu, Bwana Spika, ni nguzo ya Senate kwa sababu ni kamati ambazo ziko na majukumu ya hali ya juu, hususan mambo ya utekelezaji wa pesa, matumizi, na hatimaye pia vile vile kuchunguza kama zinatumika hizo pesa tunazopeleka katika mashinani zinatumika kwa hali ile inayotakikana. Kwa hiyo tukiwa tunajidai na hizi kamati ni kwamba tuko na imani ya kwamba zitatekeleza wajibu wake. Hawa waliochaguliwa hapa wote katika hizi kamati ni wakakamavu na niko na imani ya kwamba watatimiza vile ambavyo vinatakana kufanya, hususan kama matumizi ya pesa katika kaunti. Asante Bwana Spika, ninaunga mkono.
Now, having heard the second of the motion, I now propose the question that pursuant to Standing Order number 193, Standing Order 194, and Standing Order 195, as well as Standing Order 199, the Senate approves the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in select committees of the Senate as follows. A. County Public Accounts Committee, Senator Samson Cherargei, Mwenda Gataya Mofaya, Adan Dulo Fatuma, Dr. Lelengwe Lutumbesi, Moses Kajwang, Jones Maruma, Edwin Sifuna, Okongo Omogeni, and Enoch Wambua. Under B, County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee, Senators Peris Tobiko, Raphael Chimera, George Mbugwa, William Kisang, Godfrey Osotsi, Eddie Okech, Agnes Kavindu, Beth Siango, and Hamida Kibwana. Under C, Committee on Delegated Legislation, Senators Mwenda Gataya Mofaya, Danson Mungatana, Gloria Orwoba, Joyce Korir, Julius Murgor, Mohamed Mwinyi Haji Faki, Betty Monted, Daniel Manso, and Boy Isa Juma. Honorable members, similarly, this is a motion that I can see there are members who have expressed interest to contribute, but being a procedural motion, prior to putting the question, honorable members, confirm the quorum. I will proceed to put the question that pursuant to Standing Orders number 193, 194, 195, and 199, the Senate approves the following senators nominated by the Senate Business Committee to serve in the select committees of the Senate as follows. A. County Public Accounts Committee, Senators Samson Cherargei, Senator Mwenda Gataya, Adan Dulo Fatuma, Dr. Lelengwe Lutumbesi, Moses Kajwang, Jones Maruma, Edwin Sifuna, Okongo Omogeni, and Enoch Wambua. Under B, County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee, Senators Peris Tobiko, Raphael Chimera, George Mbugwa, William Kisang, Godfrey Osotsi, Eddie Okech, Agnes Kavindu, Beth Siango, and Hamida Kibwana. C, Committee on Delegated Legislation, Senators Mwenda Gataya Mofaya, Danson Mungatana, Gloria Orwoba, Joyce Korir, Julius Murgor, Mohamed Mwinyi Haji Faki, Betty Monted, Daniel Manzo, and Boy Isa Juma. Honorable members, having determined that this does not affect counties, I now proceed to ask the question. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Order, honorable members. We are rearranging the order paper so that we call out order number 22. Sorry, order number 14. Sorry, order number 14. Clerk, call out order number 14.
Order number 14, the County Civic Education Bill, Senate Bills number 4 of 2024, second reading.
Senator Esther Okinyure, this is your bill. You may proceed to move. Senator Boni Halwale. Very well, Senator Esi now may proceed.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that the County Civic Education Bill, that is Senate Bills number 4 of 2024, be read a second time. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2010 Constitution of Kenya ushered in a new era of devolution, granting significant powers and resources to our 47 county governments. However, devolution is not just about transferring power from the national government to counties. It's also about ensuring that every citizen understands their role in this new system of governance. And unfortunately, many of our people remain unaware of their rights, responsibilities, and the opportunities available under them under devolution. This gap in knowledge undermines the very essence of public participation, which is the cornerstone of our democracy. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise today with great pride and deep sense of responsibility to move the County Civic Education Bill for consideration by this August House, because this bill, if passed, will not just be another piece of legislation, it will be a transformative tool that seeks to empower every Kenyan at the grassroots level by equipping them with knowledge and tools necessary to actively participate in governance. And that's why I say an informed citizenry is able to make decisions on their own choices and live on a daily basis. Mr. Speaker, sir, the County Civic Education Bill seeks to address this gap by establishing a framework for systematic and continuous civic education at the county level, and therefore this bill aims to do the following. One, to promote civic awareness. In this case, the bill seeks to educate citizens about their rights, responsibilities, and functions of county governments. Secondly, this bill also helps to enhance public participation, and it does this by empowering citizens to actively engage in decision-making processes such as budget formulation, development planning, and oversight. Thirdly, the bill seeks to strengthen devolution, and it will do this by fostering a deeper understanding of devolution and governance among citizens, ensuring that they can hold their leaders accountable and benefit from services provided by the county governments. And therefore, devolution, because devolution is still a relatively new concept for many Kenyans, and without proper education, its full potential cannot be realized. Fourthly, the bill seeks to combat misinformation. Mr. Speaker, sir, we live in an era which has currently been, there is a lot of misinformation happening, both on social media and on daily engagement on the ground. So therefore, with the right civic education being given to citizens, we'll be able to provide accurate and reliable information to counter false narratives and promote transparency in governance. This bill also seeks to promote inclusivity, and it does this by ensuring that marginalized groups, including women, youth, persons with disabilities, and minority communities, are not left behind in civic education programs. These groups often face barriers to participation, and this bill will ensure that their voices are heard. On this part, I would wish to also mention that I know the women representatives have a fund to promote civic education. I would like to also welcome them to support this proposal, because already that is captured in their lines of funding. Mr. Speaker, sir, an informed citizenry is the foundation of any thriving democracy. When citizens understand rights and responsibilities, they are better equipped to hold their leaders accountable, and therefore demand transparency and actively contribute to the development of their communities. And this bill is not just about education. It's also about empowerment. It's about giving every Kenyan, from Turkana to Kwale, from Mombasa to Kisumu, the tools they need to be active participants of our democracy. And therefore, the bill proposes establishment of civic education units in every county, which is not a new phenomenon. The County Government Act of 2012 provides for this. And therefore, these units will be tasked with designing and implementing civic education programs tailored to unique needs of their communities. And these units will work closely with civil society organizations, religious institutions, and community leaders to ensure that civic education reaches every corner of our nation. The use of local languages and culturally appropriate methods to be emphasized to ensure that no one is left behind. Mr. Speaker, no one is left behind is one of the SDGs. We are approaching 2030. I hope we will live to the truth and letter of the one phrase, no one is left behind. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, the bill mandates regular reporting and evaluation to ensure that these programs are effective and responsive to the needs of people. This is not just is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It is a dynamic, inclusive, and a framework that recognizes the diversity of our nation. Mr. Speaker, sir, the passage of this bill is not just a legislative duty. It's a moral imperative. It's our responsibility as leaders to ensure that every Kenyan is empowered with the knowledge they need to fully participate in our democracy. I want to urge members that let us pass this bill and take a bold step towards building a more informed, engaged, empowered nation. Some may argue that civic education is already being conducted by various organizations nationally, and that this bill is a duplication or is unnecessary. However, the current efforts are always fragmented, unfunded, and inconsistent. We need civic education to be spearheaded by county governments, and that we actualized Part 10 of the County Governments Act. This bill provides a structured and sustainable approach, ensuring that civic education is not just an afterthought, but a priority for every county government. And on this note, it's not just for county governments. I've on several occasions argued that we need to have the culture of patriotism, the culture of being informed right from the way we march to school. So this has to be incorporated in the education curriculum so that we are bringing up young boys and girls who are very aware of their responsibilities and contributions to our country. Others may actually question the cost of implementing this bill, Mr. Speaker. But let us ask ourselves, what is the cost of an informed citizenry? You saw the opportunity we missed of informing Kenyans about the finance bill. You saw the aftermath. So we would rather invest in having people informed than suffer the cost of this country burn into ashes, Mr. Speaker. What is the cost of poor governance, mismanagement of resources, and lack of accountability? Every now and then we are handling reports, different audit reports which have been submitted on spending from different county governments. We call county chiefs here, interrogate, but that is not enough. If we were electing people who are able to take responsibility for their actions, we would be having very few of such cases being listened to by the Senate. And therefore, the investment we are making in civic education today will yield dividends for generations to come. Mr. Speaker, this is very important, and I remember the first time I brought this as a statement to this House, there was tremendous support, and most senators actually argued that, why don't you come up with a legislative proposal? And that is the moment I went down and put pieces together and came up with this proposal. So it is in the same spirit that I hope senators in this House are going to prioritize and give total support to this, because it is going to cure so many ills we have in the different county governments, and we are going to bring up responsible citizens. So with this, I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I move. I will request the Kakamega Senator, the bullfighter, to second.
Senator Dr. Boni Halwale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Honorable Speaker, I rise to second this very important bill as moved by Senator Ikanyuri. Mr. Speaker, a bill whose purpose is to establish a legal framework for the promotion of civic education in Kenya and make it, Mr. Speaker, an essential tool for building responsible citizenship. Responsible citizenship is a bill whose time is now. Members of the public would like to be consulted by their representatives when those representatives are making decisions on their behalf. But they don't want to take the responsibility of being prepared so as when now they meet their representatives, they can articulate issues within the framework of lawmaking. What do I mean, Mr. Speaker? I mean that, like, if you go to a place like Kakamega, the county assembly, yesterday, or I don't know, today or something, has made a decision that all public land held in Kakamega will move to leasehold. Essentially, Mr. Speaker, therefore, saying that people must pay rents. This was done, Mr. Speaker, without public participation. Why? Why would people of Mokolonya, Mr. Speaker, want to move from freehold to leasehold on ancestral property so as to attract payment of rents, of land rents? Why would the people of Mayakalo, why would the people of Butsotso from Shea Ward ever support this kind of thing? So had there been this wisdom as moved by Senator Okenyuri, where there is civic education, then the citizens of Kakamega would not only be given an opportunity, would not only have been given an opportunity, but, Mr. Speaker, would take responsibility by telling those MCS, don't you dare. How do you ask people to pay rents? You're a lawyer on freehold land, just by dint of Governor Baraza signing that this land from today henceforth moves from freehold to leasehold. We need to be consulted. My roots, if the governor of Kakamega doesn't know, are in Bokolonya, where our ancestral land belonging to Muse Liuba Khalwal, the father of Ngosi Liuba, the father of Bukhala Liuba, the father of Shiamia Liuba. That land now, Baraza wants the children who are my cousins now to start paying for this. We will not accept. And what a timely moment. I want to appeal to the people of Kakamega to take it easy. We are around. That misadventure will not take place, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I support this bill, I look at the provisions in Clause 5. Clause 5, Mr. Speaker, is the one that is making civic education mandatory. And it is saying public officials, including elected and appointed officials at national and county levels, shall undergo a mandatory civic education and training on their roles, responsibilities, and obligations as public servants. What a great provision. I mean, you go to Bomet, there at the hall, the great people of Jabalungu have been lifted to come. They want to participate in public participation in the social hall. Lunch is served, return ticket allowed. Then the good people, before they are given an opportunity, they are told to sign forms for allowances. And a few political statements are made by the governor here and there, and the people are told to go away. Little do they know that they were being invited for two critical things for whose civic education they have no idea. The first one, Mr. Speaker, was that they wanted to recover their signature so that that signature can be used for corruptly justifying an expenditure from the national, from the county government. It's happening in Bomet. It's happening in Kakamega. It's happening everywhere. I'm glad that the former governor of Washington is here. When I was chairman of public accounts, I never saw that kind of audit query against this guy, this senator, that you are hipping people and stealing money, getting their signature. I never saw it. But
Halwale, did you refer to the Honorable Senator Mandago as this guy?
I said, this great guy. You know, when you say great guy, it's not demeaning.
Language. Notwithstanding the fact that the Honorable Senator Mandago has not raised a concern,
Mr. Speaker,
the chair had.
I thank you. I know
Thank
it is debatable, but since the senator is not shooting on a point of order, he loves being called a great guy. He's an admirer of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump would call you're a great guy, meaning that you really impress him. Mr. Speaker, this is the route we are walking. I go to the countryside and I see people in yellow buses being taken to the county headquarters. And you ask, who are these people? They tell you they are being dropped for public participation at the headquarters. Or it is being done at the Isolio grounds in Shinyalu. Or it is being done at Lumaganda grounds in Lugari. Or it is being done in Nangiri in Likuyani constituency. And when the people go there, the guy coming to invite them for public participation, Mr. Speaker, is himself one of the busybodies around the governor. You hear what they are saying, and you cannot believe it. And at the very worst, Mr. Speaker, in some of the cases, you'll find that people have been brought in Kericho from Anapkoi to come and do public participation, or the county government has gone to Anapkoi. When they go there, the people who make contributions are the people from the governor's office. These ones were just supposed to do a make-believe. I really support this provision. Mr. Speaker, the provision in Clause 8 on the functions of the unit, which are tabulated here, are truly innovative, and I support because they form the basis for realizing the reason why many bills in this House, in the National Assembly, have been challenged in court once they've been signed in law, because the reason has always been there was no public participation. Mr. Speaker, this provision in Clause 8 is the backbone to public participation in law making. Mr. Speaker, which takes me to Clause 9. Clause 9, Mr. Speaker, is the question of funding of civic education. It provides that a county government shall ensure that part of the county government's annual budget is allocated towards funding of civic education activities in the county. This is critical because, Mr. Speaker, it is going to stop the millions of shillings that would otherwise go to development in counties that is lost through public participation that is currently in vogue. I therefore hope that as we pass this into law, that the regulations that will accompany this new act will dissect it further so that we provide that for this kind of activity, this much in quantum terms should be spent, and so on and so forth. Mr. Speaker, having said that, there is a point which I cannot end without speaking to: the issue of corruption. Mr. Speaker, the corruption that I am having on mind is that in the absence of this provision, as I've said earlier on, there's a lot of wastage where public funds are corruptly assumed to have been given to people who participated in civic education seminar and so on, when actually it is not the case. This Senate, because now we are on the home stretch, of the 13th Parliament, we must keenly listen to what the accountability institutions are saying. Mr. Speaker, it's only recently that a report from the Ethics and Corruption Commission reported that the rate of corruption is so high in the counties that, Mr. Speaker, up to 16 billion shillings, 16 billion shillings was lost on ghost workers. And the report goes further, Mr. Speaker, to shame those counties where the rate is highest at 100%. And in this list of shame of the counties with 100% rate of corruption are the following counties. Leading the counties of list of shame is Nyamira County, followed by Baringo County, followed by Kakamega County, Siaya County, Bungoma County, Turkana County, West Pokot, Samburu, Nandi, and Kisumu. I don't know what happened in my community, Mr. Speaker. This is not a tribal statement. We all belong to some communities. I don't know what happened. I don't know where Masinde Muliro is, whether sometimes his bones turn in the grave or he wakes up and weeps. I don't know whether Martin Shukuku does the same. I don't know whether Michael Kijana Wamalwa, George Welime Captain, whether they turn for this kind of rubbish that in this short list of shame, our two major counties, the biggest Kakamega, followed by the second biggest Bungoma, are making the list of counties with 100% rate of corruption. I'm appealing to our governors. This is not an insult. Go and think about this. This vanity. Where do you want to go with 1 billion shillings of public funds, Mr. Speaker? If you are a useful professional, did you know that if I give you public funds worth 1 billion at your disposal as out of pocket, you cannot spend it? What will you spend it on? You have nothing to spend on 1 billion shillings. I tell you, I know these things. One of the best houses here you can get in Karen or Runda or what have you. You go there with 100 million, you get a very good home. You still have 900 million. Since you people are practicing family planning, you have 2 children, you need a maximum of 4 million shillings for a child to complete education in a university in the UK. So, 4 million, you'll have educated your family up to university level. At the university. So, you still have not scratched the 1 billion. Mr. Speaker, I hope I'm not going out of order. When I see the Speaker control the standing orders, I get scared. Mr. Speaker,
I wanted to direct you to align your support to the relevance of the bill, which you're doing very well.
Yes,
but
corruption.
Stick to the relevance on the public participation aspect.
Mr.
in
Speaker,
the bill, which you are
you know, we are dissecting this vanity of people wanting to die millionaires or billionaires. You ask young clerk at the desk, Daniel, you give him a good car. If you give him a state-of-the-art car, he wants to buy it at 50 million shillings. New model of Range Rover Rogue. At 50 million, he'll have gotten the best car in the world. You haven't finished even 200 million. So what is this vanity? Why can't they be like the distinguished senator, now formerly the governor of Washington? He lives a very happy life. Others who are even haunted out of office, Mr. Speaker, for theft, for the money they had stolen when they were governors, I still see them with 6-7 cars, convoy, escorted, because they're scared of the money they stole from people. But Mandago, The only thing he doesn't do is to take a beer. If he was taking a beer in the evening, he would be relaxed, calm, and a very contented person, but he's drunk with tea, so let him continue with his tea. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I second this bill as moved. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Senator Dr. Boni Halwale. Now, honorable members, that bill having been seconded, I have got honorable members, that bill having been seconded, I noticed there are quite a number of members who are willing to speak to the bill. Before I allow them to comment, I now propose the question that the County Civic Education Bill, Senate Bills number 4 of 2024, be now read the second time. I will start with Senator from Mombasa, Senator Mwinyi Mohamed Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia mswada wa elimu ya uraia ambao umeletwa katika bunge na Seneta Okinyuri. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kumpongeza Seneta Okinyuri kwa mswada huu kwa sababu ni mswada ambao una mambo mengi mazuri ambayo yatasaidia nchi yetu katika kuelimisha raia kuhusiana na haki zao na vile vile pia mambo ya kiserikali na majukumu ya viongozi ambao wanawachagua kila baada ya miaka 5. Mheshimiwa Spika, katiba mpya ilipokuja mwaka 2010 ilikuwa ni matarajio ya wengi kuwa serikali itaanzisha elimu ya uraia, hususan kuelimisha wananchi juu ya haki zao kikatiba na vile vile pia mambo mengi ambayo mapya yalikuwa yako katika katiba hii yetu. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, ni masikitiko kwamba haikuweza kufanya hivyo serikali. Na nafikiri hii imefanywa kusudi ili kuendelea kuwapoteza raia kuhusiana na haki zao ambazo wako nazo. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa mfano, mambo mengi ya elimu ya uraia yalikuwa yanadhaminiwa na mashirika ya kibinafsi na mashirika yasiyokuwa ya kiserikali, yani Civic, civil society. Na japokuwa Mheshimiwa Spika, katiba ilipopitishwa ilikuwa ni matarajio ya wengi kwa wananchi wataelimishwa juu ya katiba hii na yale mambo ambayo na zile sheria mpya ambazo zimekuja, Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo haikutendeka. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, sasa kwa mfano tuna ugatuzi, lakini bado hatujajua haki zetu kikamilifu kama raia juu ya masuala ya ugatuzi. Kwa mfano Mheshimiwa Spika, tuna serikali ya county na kuna bunge la county. Lakini mara nyingi utapata kwamba wale wa bunge la county, Mheshimiwa Spika, wanajiona, na hata kama hapa pia bunge la kitaifa, wanajiona wao ni pamoja na serikali ya county ile, wakati majukumu ya serikali na majukumu ya bunge, Mheshimiwa Spika, yamewekwa mbali na bayana kabisa kwamba majukumu ya bunge kwa mfano ni kutunga sheria, kuangalia ama uangalizi, yani oversight, na uwakilishi wa watu, Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini utapata katika kaunti zetu nyingi, Mheshimiwa Spika, wabunge wa bunge la county, Mheshimiwa Spika, wao ndio wako mstari wa mbele support ama kuunga mkono yale mambo ambayo yanafanywa na zile serikali za county ambao ni kinyume na sheria. Mheshimiwa Spika, utapata Mheshimiwa Spika, mbunge wa bunge la county ameongoza watu kwenda kutoa maoni katika zile vikao vya elimu ama vikao vya uhusishaji raia, yani public participation, kuunga mkono swala ambalo yeye mwenyewe kiakilini mwake hajalielewa. Mheshimiwa Spika, utapata kwamba vikao vingi vya
uhusishaji umma, Mheshimiwa Spika, vinafanywa bila ya kuwaandaa kikamilifu wananchi katika sehemu zile. Utapata kama kwa mfano Mombasa, mkutano ni leo, jana jioni ndio wanatuma vile makaratasi ama yale mambo ambayo yatajadiliwa katika mikutano ile, Mheshimiwa Spika. Hii inafanya kwa raia hawana mchango wowote wa kuweza kutoa wakati mambo kama haya yanajadiliwa, na mara nyingi wakiulizwa wanasema tumepitisha ama tumekubali na mambo yanakwisha. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mswada huu utatoa mfumo, Mheshimiwa Spika, ambao kwanza utawawezesha wananchi kusoma katiba yao mara kwa mara. Vile vile utawapa nafasi wananchi, Mheshimiwa Spika, kujua haki zao katika serikali zao za county na vile vile pia serikali kuu ya kitaifa. Mheshimiwa Spika, pia mswada huu una lengo la kuwezesha kubadilisha mfumo wetu wa siasa, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, wananchi watakuwa wanajua ni sababu gani tunachagua viongozi na vipi majukumu ya viongozi wale. Mheshimiwa Spika, pia vile vile mswada huu utasaidia wa raia kuweza kujua haki zao kikamilifu. Tukiangalia Mheshimiwa Spika, katiba yetu ina haki karibu 51. Kuna haki karibu 51 hapa, ukiangalia kutoka kifungu cha 19 kinachozungumzia haki mpaka kifungu cha 51, Mheshimiwa Spika, ambazo zote hizi ni haki ambazo wananchi wanatakana waziweze kuzijua na kuweza kuzifuatilia. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sasa wengi watakwambia haki ambao nilionao mimi ni haki ya kuishi, haki ya elimu kwa mfano, na haki ya kujieleza, freedom of expression, na zile nyingine zote Mheshimiwa Spika 51 ama 48 wananchi hawezi kujizijua. Kwa mfano Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sasa kuna vitu vingi ambavyo vinauziwa wananchi wetu, lakini hawajui vipi wataweza kujitetea haki zao, kwa mfano kama vile vyombo ama vile vitu ambavyo wananunua vina madhara ya kibinadamu. Mheshimiwa Spika, vile vile pia itasaidia wananchi kutaka huduma njema zaidi ama huduma nzuri zaidi kutoka kwa viongozi, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, ukishajua haki yako utaweza kujua ni njia gani ambazo mimi nitafuatilia haki zile ili ziweze kutekelezwa. Mheshimiwa Spika, vile vile sheria hii itawapa majukumu serikali za county na pia serikali ya kitaifa kuweza kufanya mikakati ya kuweza kuelimisha raia. Kwa sasa Mheshimiwa Spika, hakuna mikakati yoyote ambayo serikali imeweka kuweza kuelimisha raia kuhusiana na mambo ambayo yanatendeka katika serikali na vile vile mambo ambayo yanatendeka katika nchi yetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, jukumu hili pia litatokea kwa kila kiongozi ambaye atachaguliwa wa kitaifa na vile vile pia wa kikaunti. Watakuwa na jukumu la kufanya elimu ya uraia, Mheshimiwa Spika, kuhusiana na majukumu yao na mambo mengine yao inayohusu kama wafanyikazi wa serikali. Hichi ni katika kifungu cha 5, Mheshimiwa Spika, ambacho ni muhimu sana, kwa sababu hata hivi sasa ukiangalia Mheshimiwa Spika, wengi hata sisi wabunge na maseneta, wengi wetu hawajui majukumu yao. Mheshimiwa Spika, utapata gavana anakwenda katika hafla akiandamana na wabunge wote wa bunge la county, na ukiangalia yale ambao anakwenda kufanya pale, Mheshimiwa Spika, hayahusiani kabisa na majukumu yao wale wabunge wa county, au vile vile wabunge wa county wanashindwa kuuliza maswali kwa gavana kuhusiana na vile kazi ambazo wanatakana wafanyiwe na serikali ya county. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, hii itatoa fursa nzuri ya kuweza kuelimisha viongozi wanapochaguliwa, Mheshimiwa Spika, ili wasifuje mali ya umma kama inavyoendelea kwa sasa katika nchi yetu. Vile vile Mheshimiwa Spika, hii itawapa nafasi nzuri ya kuweza kuwapima kama wanafanya kazi zao kisawa sawa au hawafanyi kazi zao kisawa sawa. Mheshimiwa Spika, zile vikundi ambavyo vitakuwa vifanya majukumu yao, Mheshimiwa Spika, pia vimezungumziwa katika kifungu cha 8, kifungu cha 7 na cha 8. Mheshimiwa Spika, kifungu cha 9 kinasema kwamba ni jukumu la serikali ya county kutenga kiwango fulani cha bajeti yake kila mwaka ili kufanikisha hii elimu ya uraia, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, jukumu hili pia lazima liweke katika bajeti ya serikali kuu. Mheshimiwa Spika, tumeambiwa leo jana kwamba bajeti ya mwaka ujao itakuwa ni trilioni 4.2. Mheshimiwa Spika, lazima kuwe na kiwango fulani ambacho kimetengwa katika bajeti hiyo ili kuhakikisha kuwa wananchi wanapata elimu ya uraia kuhusiana na majukumu yao na haki zao katika serikali yetu ya Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, tumeona pia kwamba serikali kuu itakuwa na nafasi ya kutoa zile tunaita conditional grants kwa serikali za county ili ziweze kukuza vipaji ama uwezo wa serikali zetu za county kuweza kufanya hii elimu ya uraia. Mheshimiwa Spika, pia kuna kuandikishwa kwa wale ambao watakuwa wakitoa elimu hii ili elimu yenyewe iwe ni yenye kujulikana na vile vile pia iweze kusaidia sio elimu ambayo inatolewa bila ya mpango wote. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hakika mswada huu Mheshimiwa Spika utasaidia pakubwa kujenga ugatuzi na vile vile pia kujenga elimu katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, naona pia kutakuwa na nafasi ya waziri kutengeneza sheria andamizi ili kuhakikisha kwamba haya ambayo yamezungumziwa katika mswada huu yanatekelezwa kikamilifu, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, naunga mkono mswada huu kwa vile utakuwa na manufaa makubwa na utasababisha kwamba wananchi waelewe zaidi katiba yetu na hata zile sheria ambazo zinatungwa na zitawezesha pia kama wakati wameitishwa katika kuhusishwa katika utungaji wa sheria ama mjadala wa bajeti ama mjadala wote mwingine, wataweza kupata fursa nzuri, Mheshimiwa Spika, kutokana na ile elimu ambayo watakuwa wamepata kuweza kuchangia miswada, naweza kuchangia mambo ambayo yanawakabili katika maisha yao. Mheshimiwa Spika, naunga mkono na asante kwa fursa hii.
Thank you, Senator Faki. Senator Omar Sheikh Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. First of all, I appreciate the Senator. I support to contribute to the bill which is introduced by Senator AC, County Civil Education Bill. Mr. Speaker, civil education is the fundamental aspect of fostering the informed and engaged citizens. Mr. Speaker, this civil education normally shape the society, understand their rights and the fundamental responsibilities. Mr. Speaker, this civil education bill will also citizen to participate in citizen in governance and to know their fundamental right. Mr. Speaker, this bill, there is section part 2, section 4. This is national and the county governments shall provide a civil education by. This is collaboration between content of the career of the civil education, taking into account the provision of the Article 33 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, this also facilitates the establish the channels and the forum of the education, the civil education. Mr. Speaker, when we educate our civil citizens on these civil educations, we, when it comes to specifically the budget making, they know their rights. Currently, what's happening in the county issues is something we cannot explain because most of the projects is abandoned or installed because of public participations. That is, you are not engaging the correct people for the projects to be implemented. Mr. Speaker, if we pass this bill, we educate our citizens, our voters, their right. The right in the budget, the right in their projects implementations, the right in oversight. Oversight is not only for senators to do it, is the citizen also to do it. When the budget, we pass the budget, county budget from here, but it's citizens there also to account. Transparency and accountability also depend on the citizens. Mr. Speaker, why are we in 47 county? We are mess because our citizens are, our voters, our citizens are not educated well. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to this budget issue, the county normally call individual people to tell them to pass the budget. But now, in 90% of the county people, citizens are not involved, those educated ones. So for formality, they are doing it when because there is no civil education on the participants, on the participations of the governance and accountabilities of this. Mr. Speaker, the section number 3, part 3, the county civil education units, this establishing the county civil education units, Mr. Speaker, is needed. Because if we make these civil education units, these function units should be developed and comprehensive civil education plan for the counties in collaboration with the relevant stakeholders and outlining the goal and the objectives of the strategy and the activities of promoting the civil education and civil engagement civil engagement by the citizens. Mr. Speaker, this civil education in the county county sides, also they monitor and evaluate the process and the impact of the civil education program in the county unit. In the county and provide a regular report on the county executive committee members and the county assembly. Mr. Speaker, in section number 9 also is the funding of the civil education. Mr. Speaker, when you are saying we constitute these civil units, who is supposed to fund it is the question. That's why in section 9, part 1, there is a county government shall, that is a must, ensure that part of the county government annual budget is allocated toward the funding of the civil activities in the county. This provision, Mr. Speaker, we have to be reinforced, because if you said the county government annual budget to be allocated to civil education activities, it means that it is open and county government can engage any person to do this civil education. Mr. Speaker, in that scenario, there is part 3, which county executive provider. So it means that if we have allocated the money, we're supposed to also highlight and identify those people who do the civil education. Mr. Speaker, in that scenario, section 11 of the part 3, that is the unit should be responsible for registration of the non-governmental organization and other non-state actors providing civil education in the county as a civil education provide under this article. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to this section 2 also, the registration as a county civil provider, there is a restrictions for these providers in the bill. It is not open, it's not a blanket for any person can train. In that one, there is a restriction which I glanced that the proposal registration office entitled a place of incorporates and registration. Mr. Speaker, in detail, the description describe the civil education program offered. They must have the prescribed program for this civil education. Mr. Speaker, in Section 3, in Part 3 also, this is consideration of the applications of registration. Mr. Speaker, in these units, the section shall, the unit shall within 60 days upon receiving of the application under Section 10, consider the application toward with required document. There must be a requirement document conducting due diligence and on applicant. Mr. Speaker, with these registrations and upcoming with the units, there must be also unit must be, as you register, there must be also deregistration, because when you register, there must be other, maybe some cartels who don't normally do the required work. There must be also deregistration for the units, stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, civil education is a very important, and this framework for the promotion of civil education in Kenya as essential tools for building responsible citizens and civil education, civil engagement, and democratic values among the citizens. Mr. Speaker, if we pass this bill, our youth will know their rights. They do the oversight themselves. They do transparency and accountability for each of the leaders, especially for the county issues, because, Mr. Speaker, we are wiring a lot of money to the counties, and the county people, they are misusing the money in not giving an engagement to the to the citizens. That's why, as I earlier said, there is stall projects, and also during transitions, most of the county government decide to abandon the county project which has been started by other governor, but proceed to start another one by the new governor. Mr. Speaker, all this is because of not engaging the citizens. If we create a responsible citizen to know their rights and fundamental rights, the governance and accountability, Mr. Speaker, we are among the developed countries. Mr. Speaker, with all those remarks, I support the bill.
Honorable members, there being no other member who is seeking to contribute to this bill, I'll call upon Senator Mulgor. I can't see your name in the dashboard. Very well. In the next, proceed to have your contribution, or allow Senator Mulgor to proceed, Clerk.
Well, my light is on. I don't know why it doesn't show on your side. Thank you very much anyway for allowing me to also make my contributions on this very essential bill in as far as county education is concerned. And I thank Okinyuri for this very important bill for the counties. This bill, in as far as my understanding is concerned, is seeking to equip the citizens or the county members and village members and members of wherever there is a meeting or participatory gathering with information, to empower them so that they have information about their right and on whatever belongs to them, to know that this is theirs, and therefore they are the ones that have a right over it, and nobody else can.
Senator Murgor, when the House resumes, you will have your 19 minutes to continue submitting to the bill when the House resumes. Now, Honorable Senators, it is now 6:30 p.m., time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, 13th of February, 2025 at 2:30 p.m.